What is up, everyone? What is up? How are you doing? And I forgot my wine glass. God damn it. Be right back. Hold on. I'm here. I'm here. There we go. Okay, cool. Pleasures of having a wine rack right by your little workspace. Am I right? How's everyone doing this Thursday? I know we have a back-to-back stream because yesterday was a makeup stream for Tuesday. Yeah. So, what's everyone up to? How's your week been going? What's up, Bon? How's it going? At least we got the chat going over there working. It's always like makes me nervous whenever I open the browser because it's like with an empty screen, you can't sit there and be like, is it working? Is it not? Like you can send yourself messages, but that requires effort. I'm joking. But dread, yeah, I can feel that. I can relate to that. Some good news though. At least as if you've been paying attention to the courts and everything. Your dog passed away? Oh shit. That's what I didn't see you. Oh, I'm so sorry, buddy. How old is your dog? Oh. Too old, yeah. Yeah. That's the problem with bigger breeds is, like, the bigger the dog, the shorter the lifespan. That's the unfortunate thing. And then the small dogs live forever, but small dogs are not nearly as fun. Bigger breeds have bigger feelings. It was tough. Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I can totally understand that. I've had one dog pass in my life, and it's very upsetting. I remember when my dog passed, it was like 2 days off. What's a mainframe good for? Mainframe is totally different. Mainframe's for high processing of transactions with high reliability. They're still used today for a lot of credit card processing things. They're actually interesting technologies. They're usually using ZOS, which is a totally different operating system, which is Unixy. And if you've ever worked with a mainframe, I've only dealt with them like once. And I didn't get to touch it. I was just kind of shown it by someone else. It's built in nodes. So you can literally replace parts in a mainframe while it's still on, and it will keep running. You don't need to turn a mainframe down. And these mainframes, they are earthquake tested and all that. It's insane. Does MasterCard or Visa still use Foxtran for credit cards? I'm not sure. I'm not too on the up and up on the financial systems. The financial world and the technology there. Mainframes are used heavily in the utility sector for account management and energy usage for smart meters. Yeah, you got to do a lot of that number crunching. Opinions on the Trump shutdown of Cybersecurity Review Board. So I've already made a TikTok video about it. It's dumb. It's stupid. It was completely done out of spite. He did the same thing apparently with Obama and just undid everything that Biden did. Just out of spite, because Trump may have started the whole thing with CISA. It started under him, but the Cybersecurity Review Board was started by Biden, and it was one of his earliest executive orders. And that was what allowed us to actually do the investigations into Salt Typhoon and all the other attacks and everything. And then the great thing about it was CISA would be able to be better equipped to educate on the issues around the network so they could disseminate that information so we could better secure our networks. And that is really going to hurt the entire American economy, because the thing a lot of people need to understand is America needs cybersecurity, and I know everyone needs cybersecurity, but what you have to understand is Americans are overwhelmingly targeted in the entire world because of the perception of how much money we have. And yes, true, we have a lot of money, but let me put it this way. When I was I kind of had a epiphany moment when I was talking to a few of my people I'm talking to on Xiaohongshu Red Note just to get some insights to the Chinese economy because I talk about little cybersecurity things there. They don't have as mature of a cybersecurity knowledge. Hell, most of their apps are still using SMS MFA, and I haven't really seen many other apps that have like TOTP and FIDO and all that. And it dawned on me, I'm like, wait, they got 1.2 billion people, but the average person, but the perception of Chinese people around the world is they're not that wealthy, so they're not really targets, if that makes sense. They probably still have scams and stuff, but not to the level of what the US does. Yeah. Currently in school for cybersec, definitely made me stop and question my degree path. Well, cybersecurity's been in a far worse state even before that. It's still worthwhile to go down if you're interested in it, but yeah, it's definitely a major headache and sticking point. What version of Linux do you have? I usually use Pop OS for my daily driver machines, and then I use Cubes OS for my security laptop. I kind of flip between those two. And then my VMs are either in Debian or sometimes maybe like a Red Hat or something like that, depending on the work. Certain applications specifically ask for Red Hat. They may be packaged with Red Hat out the box as an appliance. Is your Linux running on a virtual machine or VirtualBox? No. My Linux is the hypervisor. Here, I can show you that. Yeah. So, I'm running Linux bare metal. I don't really like running Windows daily, unless I'm at work, because I have no choice. BTW, I love RCS. RCS. Which acronym... Okay, which RCS are you talking about? Because I can think of several acronyms right now with that. Let me see. That's so efficient. They're not wealthy, but they can live comfortably because rent and essentials are stupid cheap. So, yeah. That, and there are wealthy Chinese, but yeah, the conception of the average Chinese person having money is not the same as an American, the average American having money. Like, they really think, and like, it's stupid things like, let me show you this, okay? So this is something that actually happened when I was on Xiaohongshu, and this is part of why I like to see the insight. So I was on Xiaohongshu, and I shared this on Blue Sky. It's also on Mastodon. Hey, thank you for the sub there, Jessica. Appreciate you. I don't know why the sound didn't go off. Shit, hold on. I think I know why. Are you kidding me? Did Stream Element... okay, so hold on. I gotta log into Stream Elements. That's why. Because I updated my OBS, and then something apparently broke. Hold up. Give me a second. I just want to fix this. Yeah, I did a little update earlier just to make sure that... because OBS was bothering me, and I'm like, yeah, I should probably do this. So let me just log in, turn on my notifications. And hold on, where are we? Streaming tools. God, it's been a while since I've actually gone into the website because I usually use the button. Bot is in your chat. Where are you? There we go. Button was hiding. Okay, that'll fix it. I am also looking to add some additional things. So I will eventually have some fun chatbot things in the Twitch chat. I saw another streamer that I follow and was in chat, and I'm in their Discord, and he's a chill dude. He shared with me some notes about how I could possibly use ChatGPT with an API for a bot that actually can sit in chat and interact with things. Just Dev and I were playing with it in his stream. It was kind of fun, but we can customize it because it works that way. Do a miracle to get folks to set up MFA. Okay. Keep doing what you're doing and enjoy the content. Appreciate you. What's up? What's up, Rich? How did you manage to download VPN Proton for free? Well, Proton has a free version of a VPN, but the honest truth is I pay for Proton Mail for my personal email. So, yeah. But anyway, and it comes with VPN on there. But anyway, this is what I was talking about here. So, the U.S. Embassy in China, the same thing as all embassies. They're all on, social media, trying to talk good about their country and everything. They said this, and I want you to think about this, because this was asked. My American friends, this is what the U.S. Embassy in China told us. The average U.S. household has a net worth of nearly $1.2 million, according to the Federal Reserve. U.S. household net worth rose to a record $156.2 trillion at the end of 2023. Based on 130 million households, the average household has assets of $1.2 million. Still, according to Fed analysis of households' finances through 2022, at the median net worth per household is $192,000, meaning that half of all households have a net worth of less than $192,000. Do you see how they say things like that? And it shocks me because they say average, but how many people do we know that actually have that? Average household. Okay? It's so weird how they do that. And it's how one can lie with statistics. And that's why statistics can be true and false at the same time. One can manipulate statistics in any way, shape, or form they want to tell any agenda. That's the reality of it, if given enough variables. And the reality, as we all know it, is we have a few hundred billionaires. Okay? Those few hundred billionaires significantly skew the entire average. If anyone has ever dealt with the what is it called? The law of averages and everything yeah. It gets really skewed pretty fast. So that's the reality when it comes to things like that. And that was just kind of interesting to see what America tries to tell other countries that we normally don't have access to. Because this is on Weibo, apparently. Yeah, what's their standard deviation? Exactly. How can I download ChatGPT? ChatGPT is in the cloud. You don't download ChatGPT. There are local LLMs you can run locally, but not ChatGPT. ChatGPT doesn't run locally. You can get things like Mistral, Llama. There's a few dozen out there. Your operating system looks like Apple. That's kind of why I like Pop OS. So I actually came from Apple years ago. So I used to be about a decade or so ago. I used to use a MacBook because it was at least, you have to remember, at the time, Linux has come a long way. At the time, you had a lot of mainstream applications that wouldn't run on Linux. And so I would literally have a Linux laptop and a Mac laptop. And most of my work would be, depending on what I was doing, would be on the Linux one. But then I would use the Mac computer for a lot of the basic things. Well, where was I going with this? Brain. Oh, yeah. But then Apple soldered in their components, and that made it too expensive. Because you have to remember how Apple used to be a lot more cost-effective years ago. I used to recommend Apple computers and all that many years ago. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand is I'm not an Apple hater. I'm a tech professional. I use the best tool for the job. Whereas the problem is the average Apple user treats Apple like, think about it this way. It's the with Apple people, a lot of them, the concept is everything looks like a nail when you're using a hammer. Think about it this way. How many times do you run into Apple people that are doing things too much on their device that you're looking at them like, you need more than a laptop, what you're doing. You need more than 8 gigabytes of RAM. Like, I've literally gotten into, like, Apple users, the average Apple user does not understand Apple and gets sold a lot of tech BS. Like, do y'all remember the whole argument of the Apple people saying, well, Apple uses ARM, so it doesn't need as much memory as Windows? And all the Linux crowd was cracking up because we've been using ARM for over a decade longer than Apple was. And we're like, that's a damn lie, and you know it. In many cases, you actually may end up using more memory with ARM. Not by much. Because the reason why that is it's called reduced instruction set computing. So what has to be done is the instructions aren't in the CPU. You have to code that extra part in. So, yeah. There are, like, it was an interesting thing where I would tell people a lot of times, like, you need to understand how this works. Now, Mac does have memory compression, but that came after Linux already had memory compression. ZRAM. And that allows up to 50% more memory to be fit in, but ideally you don't want to have memory compression because that can also do some other weird things, and yeah. How to install your operating system on Windows? Well, you can use a virtual machine if that's what you mean. Also, there's a house bill to make ChatGPT top gauge medic. Oh yeah, I actually was reading that right before I came on stream. That's one of the things I was going to be talking about, because that actually came up in Blue Sky. But yeah, there is a bill in front of the House to allow AI and machine learning to be allowed to prescribe you drugs. I'm sorry, I do not agree with that whatsoever. I believe no matter what, I think AI can be a tool to help, but I don't think AI should be its own independent authority. We've seen a lot of times where AI will give you false information, and that's a big problem as well with a lot of kids today. There are teachers that are complaining that kids are coming up with bullshit facts and taking ChatGPT at its face. Try some unscripted data. Cake is the answer. I only have one phone user in my contacts. Everyone else in one iPhone user in my contacts. Everyone else is Android. Quality's gone down and people don't use it to its full potential. Wait, with what? Oh, Apple. We have to use more instructions. My first and only MacBook lasted 12 years. Yeah, the old MacBooks were great. Well, the PowerPC Macs were the best. The Intel-based Macs were trash. And they weren't trash because of Intel, Apple people. They were trash because Apple didn't design the laptop around the thermal requirements of Intel. They disobeyed Intel's own thermal guidance documentation. And why did Apple go to Intel? Because they were dumb and impatient, and they're like, well, IBM isn't hitting 3 gigahertz yet with PowerPC, so we're going to Intel. They should have never left PowerPC. They should have kept with PowerPC this whole time. Because the second they left PowerPC, everything advantageous about Apple went out the window. That's the honest truth. Apple should go to AMD. I don't know about that. Not at this point in time. They should have stuck with PowerPC. I liked the PowerPC platform. It was great. Apple used to be the everything machine. Like, if you're like, I used to set up Xserve. How many of you are familiar that Apple used to make servers? They used to have rack-mountable servers. Apple once upon a time let you deploy a server and do basically the equivalent thing of Active Directory in Windows. You used to be able to properly use Mac in a business. Now, everything with Apple is really half-assed towards businesses, with the exception of the initial deployment and the MDM sort of things. What I mean by that is you can order a Mac through their business side of things with an MDM profile pre-installed on the Mac. So when you buy the laptop as a business, you can have it shipped directly to an employee, and it's got all the company software and everything pre-installed. So right out the box, all they got to do is enter the company information. That's it. Dell also does this, Lenovo also does this, and HP also does this as of now, from my understanding. But Apple was one of the first ones to do that. But it seems like everything after that, in terms of business, they've really half-assed. Because once you go, okay, now you need to start managing your devices. Well, you're going to need either Microsoft Intune, which can be kind of weird with Mac, Jamf, Jump Cloud. There's a few others out there. You need a hodgepodge it. And that's one of the reasons why Microsoft is so nice for businesses. It's got this whole ecosystem built in. And then even on Linux, you could then add Realm and then tie it into an Active Directory server. Or if you really want, you could get a free IPA server, do a trusted bridge over to Active Directory, and then have that control the Linux machines and then share, information with the Active Directory. So Active Directory takes care of the Windows and free IPA takes care of the Linux side, and best of both worlds. Though nowadays, everybody's wanting to get off of on-prem, so. Yeah, well, the other thing is, that Trump repealed the executive order Biden had to have some guardrails around AI, where there were ethical concerns with AI. So there is really no restriction in the United States on AI research, and that's a dangerous precedent. That is a really dangerous precedent. I'm just saying. No need for autonomous healthcare. I don't agree with autonomous healthcare. I think we're extremely far away from where we can have AI we can really trust. AI is still very, very new. Do they want to do mind uploading now? According to Elon, probably. Yeah. AI is only as good as the programmer. Absolutely. Yeah, people will lie to the AI to get drugs to sell. Oh, that's gonna open up a huge amount of liability. Trust me. PowerPC was pretty sick with the Apple servers. They were pretty crazy. New Apple's directed TSMC. They don't need AMD. Adobe Premiere ran super fast on Apple servers and workstations. Oh yeah, yeah. In that era, there were legitimate performance gains going to a Mac in a PowerPC environment. There were legitimate performance gains in almost every single thing you could do with a Mac back in the day. The second they moved to Intel, it kind of why do people think that Apple is unhackable? Because Apple did this stupid fucking ad years ago. So there was this common misconception for years that Apple's more secure because it doesn't get viruses. And Apple actually ran an ad they had to pull because they pretty much got sued. Do you all remember the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC commercials? If not, let me show you. These are great. PC can't get viruses. So these ads did exist. They were a great ad campaign. Do not get me wrong. I thought they were cute. They were amazing. But the issue is this one was wrong.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
Make sure. Can you hear?
PC.
Yep.
Gesundheit, you okay?
No, I'm not okay. I have that virus that's going around.
Oh yeah.
In fact, you better stay back. This one's a doozy.
That's okay. I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
No, do not be a hero. Last
Yeah,
year,
so
14,000 known viruses for PCs.
PCs, not Macs. So you just gotta.
I think I got to crash.
Hey, if you feel like that'll help, good.
see, it's like that. They had to pull that ad.
You shop in the Jewel Osco app?
They had to pull that app and a few others. And the reason why was because it wasn't true. Mac, just like Linux, let's make this very clear. Mac and Linux are more secure in how they're architected. But every lock has a key, and every key can be picked, or every lock can be picked. You knew what I meant by that. And the problem was, at the time, I think Apple was only, between 1% and 3% of the market share. It's economics. If I make a virus, am I going to make the virus targeting 1% to 3% of people, or am I going to make the virus targeting 97% of people? You're going to go after the one that is 97% of people. So, that's why Apple wasn't getting viruses. Because if you look up the news as of the past few years, malware has been increasing on Mac for the past 10 years. They merely were protected through obscurity, more or less. Not really obscurity, but you get what I mean. It just was popularity. So, it's a common misconception, and the average Apple user is kind of dumb. I'm saying that as a former Apple user, and I'm saying that as a guy that has an iPhone. So before you're like, he hates everything Apple. I hate Apple less than Google. Though I do have an Android too. But you get my point. The average Apple user buys Apple because they like it's the same thing as the people that get a very nice car. There's nothing a BMW, a Mercedes, a Porsche, any of those will do for your day-to-day driving needs really that differently than a four-banger Honda. Yeah, the illusion of wealth. People buy it as a status symbol. It's like the equivalent of those people that buy a Lamborghini to drive to do their daily driver. It's really inconvenient. Like, you'd be surprised at a lot of these things people drive just as a status symbol that are actually really inconvenient. So, it's really just a reality of people convince themselves of stupid things, and they believe anything. And the average Apple user, I'm going to be honest with you, is worse to work with than the average Windows user. Because, oh my God. And by the way, you know what's the ironic thing? People who have Mac computers generally physically abuse their computers more than Windows machines. It is interesting. Do you know how many people I've seen on a Mac that literally use their Mac as a coaster or shit like that? Like, don't even consider, like, cleaning the machine or, you know, not doing, putting it in certain ways or holding it in certain ways when you're carrying it. Like, yeah. And if you want to fight me on this, go to any repair shop. They'll tell you the same thing. I used to be in the repair business. So where are we at? Yeah. Entra and Intune for the win. Yeah, they work pretty well. I haven't set it up myself. I kind of like JumpCloud a little bit more for small businesses, but I'm a little bit biased there because I used to set up a lot of businesses and everything. But Entra and Intune's improved a little bit, but JumpCloud I think still has a few more features that I prefer until you're on the enterprise space. But you can always mix and match. It's a little expensive though. What do you think about Framework and the other Linux-oriented hardware manufacturers? I mean, I don't really use framework. I got a System 76 laptop here. I've got my Purism Librem 14 upstairs in my bag. So I use Linux-based laptops. I got a Pinebook Pro upstairs. I've got another laptop coming in from MNT. It's just being... It's slow. It's shipping from Germany. It was like a crowd supply Kickstarter kind of thing. So it is shipping. I just happen to be in the unlucky batch that's taking extra long to get shipped, because in that batch they had issues with the screen quality they had, and then they had to get them repaired and all that. So there are a few delays. I was supposed to have it back in November, but I've seen like thousands of other people on Mastodon talking about their little MNT laptops. And the reason why I say Mastodon is this company is so open source. They don't have a Twitter. They don't have a Blue Sky. They go right to Mastodon, and they do pretty well. They're like open source extremists, kind of in the best way. For those of you not aware, the company I'm referring to is MNT Research. And they're releasing a new laptop, by the way. So they have several products there. They have graphics cards they make for Amiga computers. Yes, you can still upgrade your Amiga computer in this day and age. They make open source keyboards. Like they make them. And then this is the little laptop I'm waiting for. I'm not getting it with the A311D. I'm getting it with their MX8M Plus, which was a pre-order one. The A311D is supposed to be a little bit faster, but it's got less RAM. I'm waiting for them to release the new version of the RK3588 they're talking about. They're going to have a new chip that's going to have the Wi-Fi built in, so I don't lose the cell modem that I can install on this. And aluminum frame, completely open source, designed for right to repair, all the goody things. And I think that'll be a nice laptop for me for my everyday needs, because most of the time I just need a tiny laptop with a terminal, and this would be great for DEF CON and coffee shops and all that, and I don't need to take my big-ass laptop with me everywhere. They also have, of course, the original MNT Reform, which started it all off. Another fully open-source laptop. Like, you can change your own lithium-ion cells and everything in there. You can either get a trackball, or I think you can do a touchpad, or is it the... No, I think it's the new laptop they're working on. So they have a new laptop they're coming out with. Alright, let's see. If you go to crowdsupply.com, this is the next laptop coming out. And they already hit funding. It's the MNT Reform Next, just an improvement on the Reform. And fully open source, again. But this, I think, comes out the box with the RK3588, which is a really, really fast CPU with 16 or 32 gigabytes of RAM. The only thing I don't like about this is I can't get a built-in cell phone looking at the board they have in there, at least, because of the RK3588. So, yeah. Really nice design. Like that thing. Anyway. Moving on. But yeah, Linux laptop's great. HP's also got one called the HP Dev one. But I'm looking at my next laptop also being from Tuxedo Computers with an NVIDIA GPU for my mobile editing and streaming. Hackers, the Net, and Swordfish would be required watching. So we actually did watch Hackers in my Discord. So, but yes, I have a Discord for everyone that's not aware. I'm on a bunch of socials. I'm just not on a lot of meta shit. I'm not on Twitter. But I am on Discord, I am on Matrix, I am on Blue Sky, I am on Mastodon. But in our Discord, we have a movie night that I started doing a few months ago every week. So every Saturday night, 9 p.m., we hang out in the voice chat and we watch a movie. One of the first movie we watched when we kicked it off was Hackers. This week is The Great Dictator with Charlie Chaplin. What was last week's? Shit, what was last week's? Let me go check the announcement. I forgot what last week's was. Oh yeah, The Net with Sandra Bullock. And then before that was Blazing Saddles. And let me see. Before that was The Frisco Kid. Yeah. So we got some nice fun choices there. about Oracle? Are they really buying TikTok? They are one of the contenders to buy TikTok. They currently run, well, the honest truth is, let me put it this way. No one knows. Everyone right now, when they're like, oh, is this company going to buy TikTok? Is this going to... Everyone is in the mix. And here's the other thing that y'all really need to understand too. Everyone is too focused on thinking there's only going to be one buyer. There is a good possibility that it could go down to several buyers with multiple shares in the company. I know that I thought, if I recall, even Mr. Beast, if I recall, was throwing his hat in the ring for it. I even heard, I haven't confirmed it, but I was even hearing like rumors of like Kendrick Lamar and like all these other people. There are so many people stepping up to try to buy a chunk of that social media network. So my best advice I would tell you is don't get hung up thinking like, oh, this company's going to buy it or that company's going to buy it. There could be a good chance that 10 companies buy it. And you have 10 different people. And here, and for proof and point in that, go look at ByteDance themselves. ByteDance is owned by, I think, GE, Sequoia Capital, if I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong on these names, and a few others. Yeah, I think Mark Cuban might even be one of the people in the running, but I also know that he also is wanting to fund a AT protocol-based TikTok alternative. He's talked about that, which basically would mean that it runs in Blue Sky. Or is compatible at the very least. Alright. Moving on. We've seen enough movies about AI and we don't listen. I see Ubuntu offers Active Directory support. Does that not work on its own? It can. There's different ways to slice it. Linux has been able to do directory services for a while, at least through LDAP. Choose the line. Remember them. Or OS 11.50 day exploit. What's a computer? Apple abused and misled the word open source. So Apple has done some good things with open source a couple decades ago. Not as much lately. Have you seen ERB Apple? Wait, what? No, Vampire, what do you mean by ERB Apple versus Microsoft? Remember this? Every key can be picked. From a virus perspective, most is common sense, right? Yep. In most cases, unless you're specifically targeting some people. Now, there was a period of time. I remember the mentality, because remember, Apple's a luxury item. So why now is malware starting to uptick on Apple computers for the past few years? Think about it. It's a luxury symbol. So now the thinking is Apple users often have more money than Windows users. So if I target an Apple user, I may more likely hit some good money. That's how they're thinking. Because now there's enough economy to at least do that. Whereas years ago, Apple and Windows computers, I mean, computers in general used to be very expensive. Getting a computer that was less than $1,000 was unheard of years ago. I don't know. My Micro B got a virus that was late in the 80s and early 90s. The early viruses were kind of fun. There were a lot of virus makers that were pretty fun. Like, they would actually, like, do, like, acid rain and all this stuff. Like, back in the day, making a virus was kind of an art. Nowadays, it's just everyone saying, "Ha-ha! I locked your computer! Pay up, bitch!" Will SteamOS take over on gaming PCs? I don't really think... I think everyone needs to get off the, thinking of it's gonna be SteamOS. Eventually, Linux will start taking over. It's gonna take time. And for anyone that's like, no, that'll never happen. Buddy, computers have been moving operating systems for years. Microsoft merely just happened to have the longest stay. But eventually, like, let me put it this way. How many people are fine with just a Chromebook or an Android phone? A lot of people out there. And the only thing holding back gaming on Linux right now is stupid developers that put stupid kernel level anti-cheat in. That has literally been the only reason the majority of my games that, wouldn't work. Everything else worked fine. Like, y'all have literally seen me fire up several games the day they came out. Like, Path of Exile 2 came out 0 day. Remember, we were playing within like 2 hours of it came out or something like that. The First Descendant, same thing. Was able to play it day 0. Space Marine 2. Lots of other games. All right, let's see. Do you think blocking meta on TikTok helps the FYP? No, doesn't make a fucking difference. That's the one funny thing that I find with a lot of non-tech people. Y'all come up with some of the funniest bullshit to think that that's gonna improve life. It's right up there with, what's his face? The, what's that douchebag's name? Shit. He was in a bunch of... Russell Brand. So Russell Brand was hawking this, like, amulet thing that would stop wireless signals from hurting your body and everything like that. Yeah. Non-technical people were convinced themselves of a lot of random bullshit. Like, I want you to think about this. All the people that think in grounding yourself. Like, not like in the not in the metaphysical sense or that. I'm talking about the people that are literally putting foil in their bed or something like that and then sticking it to the ground and thinking that's going to help them with anything. Because let me tell you, I have a background as an electrician before I went into IT. Yeah, it don't do shit. And most of y'all that are doing that, it ends up actually being more of a hazard. I just heard my default Android keyboard isn't safe. Any thoughts on this? Any suggestions? Yeah, stop installing stupid keyboards. Get some basic ass ones that don't snitch on you. There are a lot of... The thing you have to understand is a lot of people go out of their way often to install free software, thinking it gives them the benefit. But you need to understand, if you're not paying for it, how are they paying for it? And often, they're paying for it with your data. So, in majority of cases, if it's not open source, I wouldn't go after the free product. There are exceptions to the rule, but yeah. There's executables, SMS links, email phishing fun. Oh, yes, because it's pretty. Oh, I think we're talking about the Mac thing. Me with my Camaro SS. I just heard... Oh, yeah, you just said that. I hate that Reddit doesn't have specific settings for landscape on Reddit or on Android tablets. Yeah, that sucks because there used to be third-party Reddit clients that actually were really well, and then Reddit did their whole petty thing where they were charging for the API, which then killed a lot of the better Reddit apps, and then a lot of people moved over to Lemmy. Lemmy is the federated version that runs on ActivityPub. I haven't dealt too much with it, but it looks nice. I'm not a big Redditor. Although I do go there often for, like if I have issues with, a certain thing or talk about, a few things or, it's a good resource. I'd rather buy Nissan than Honda. 6 half a dozen the other. I just made that character advancement a year ago, and it's been the best change. Wait, what character advancement? 1000% Apple users. I'm AASP. Let me tell you, I know my effing... yeah, they do. They abuse Macs. Yeah. Like, you find the opposite with Windows users. How many of you have basically had to yell at a family member to take off the protective film when you buy the product and tell them, it's not a screen protector. It's there to protect it in shipping, and inform them further, keeping that on the screen for too long eventually breaks down the screen. Like, you find, like, people that baby their Windows computers that don't even warrant the babying. Like, I've seen people with a $200 little netbook and treat it like it's a $2,000, you know, laptop that's amazing. And then I'll see, like, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 Mac computers that just look like absolute garbage, that are dinged up, the corners are bent, there's scratches all over it. Yeah, dank pods. What about dank pods? Well, I use as a green case. Okay. I've heard of my... you already asked that several times. That old iPad. What's the best antivirus for... That's one thing that annoys me, is, like, people will repeat the same question. There's so many people here. You can ask your question once, and I will get to you. There's multiple people here. Chill. It'll get worse if I end up getting popular. I dread fame. What's the best antivirus software for Windows for the standard user? It's called not being a dumb fucking don't click on stupid shit. Your computer already has a decent antivirus already built in most cases. Microsoft Defender. It's not the best thing, but for the average person out there, don't do stupid shit. Don't install stupid shit. You'll be fine. But if you still want something better than Windows Defender, Bitdefender. That's the one that always gets my money. Bitdefender. And if you're in a small business, Bitdefender Gravity Zone is even better because it's an EDR. But in the EDR space, y'all are going to hate me on this, and I'm going to tell you to shut the hell up before you say anything. CrowdStrike's actually pretty good, too. Yes, I know, you're going to say they had that outage and everything. Bro, if you knew how many times antivirus has messed up from every vendor, you'd be shocked. Okay? I remember when McAfee was accidentally deleting, I think it was like the System 32. No joke. I remember when Norton was messing up. I remember when we had issues with Sophos at one point. ESET, loved ESET, messed up for me a couple of times. But CrowdStrike is still one of the best ones out there, especially as a whole value. And yes, they messed up. But here's the thing. Because of that mess up, they now give more features to control channel file updates than any other vendor does. Because here's the reality. The thing CrowdStrike was doing with frick, I just said the word. Channel file updates. They all do that. Every antivirus works that way. You're getting multiple updates a day. ESET is worse, slows your PC too much. Nope. They were actually built in assembly. They were actually one of the best. I used to be able to run an antivirus at the same time I was running Doom 3 on a single Pentium 3 processor. The reality is, if your computer's running slower these days when you're running an antivirus scan, that's probably because you've got some bottlenecks somewhere. And by the way, just so you're aware, there is a better version of Microsoft Defender you can pay for from Microsoft, but that's an EDR, and it's not really something I recommend for the average person. If you're in a big business, yes. Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, okay. The net. Okay, yeah. Is it real that Oracle is buying TikTok? No, I think I already answered that already, where I wouldn't focus too much on, I think everyone needs to get off the idea of there's only going to be one buyer. There could be one, there could be two, there could be 12, there could be 20. All that Trump has said is that there needs to be at least 50% ownership in the U.S. Doesn't matter how that 50% happens. For all they freaking care at this point, I could have $5 ownership, be a part owner, and then somebody else makes up the, 49.9999999% of whatever value is left. I want TikTok to be less censored in the US. TikTok's been screwy lately, in general. It's not really censored, it's just too sensitive, and I don't like the algorithm. I want Mark Cuban, I can trust Mark Cuban. So I remember when we were trying to get Mark Cuban to run in the Libertarian Party a few years ago. That was back in 2020, I think. We were trying. Look, every year, and make this very clear before anyone thinks like, oh, I just vote Libertarian. No, I mess with all four parties because I have to research everything. So I at least, even though lately I haven't really voted much Republican, I at least research every single Republican candidate out there and Democrat, and, well, that I would vote for. You know, that I'm eligible for voting before the election comes. And I think everyone needs to do that. The League of Women Voters, by the way, gives great information right before election time on the policies of every single candidate in your area. There's also Ballotpedia and stuff, but this is the way I learned was the League of Women Voters. They used to have like a little newspaper we would get, and then it would tell us all the different politicians, their positions, the bills on the ballot, and everything. Ever run a game server, bare metal on your NAS? Not on my NAS. I used to run a game server back in the Tribes 2 days, and then, yeah, I eventually want to. Look on the Discord for the ERB. ERB. Oh, Epic Rack Battle. Okay. How do I fight depression using my love of computers? You can't fight depression with computers. You can fight depression by going outside, touching some grass, and getting some friends. I'm not saying that to be a dick. I'm being honest here. Isolating yourself is going to depress you more. You need friends. You need family. You need contact. You need, a circle of people. You need to go outside. You need sun. Literally, you need sun. You know, you got to go enjoy life and nature. Get a balance between tech and nature. It's a beautiful planet out there. Go enjoy it. Ransomware. There is some logic to that thinking. Also, I barely see scammers scam Mac users. That's starting to change. Except the C64. Okay, I said it was stuff. Remember the Kipling virus? Hit K and it wrote Kipling. Bro, I remember the brain virus. I remember the dancing baby virus. Do y'all remember the dancing baby virus? It literally would spam around a dancing baby that would dance on your screen. Yep, enough sleep, exercise, and healthy food are all you need for good mental health. Exactly. I have FB in, okay, let's see. Re-anti cheat. Yes, I run a custom kernel, so they may not like me. I'm gonna read up on it. I have FB and Meta and Insta anyway, so I'll block them either way. What would you, VPN would you recommend? So, here's the honest truth. All right? Gonna say this. I've said it multiple times. Because I have an actual title for this. All right? There is a video I made not too long ago, just 1 month ago. The truth about VPNs, overhyped, misunderstood, and not a silver bullet. Watch this video. Yes, it's about 40 minutes, but it goes deep into why I explain to everyone, in most cases, you don't need a VPN. But if you are going to use a VPN, I like Proton VPN. I am affiliated with them. And I like Molvad VPN for different reasons. But Proton fits the bill for the majority of average users, especially if you're doing streaming remotely and, traveling and all that. Whereas Molvad just gives you privacy, but it doesn't work well with streaming services and all that. And Proton can actually have, you can get Proton as part of your Proton Mail account. So Proton is a much better value. I know, I'm affiliated with them, I'm selling them. Look, if I make a few bucks off of this, it's something I would recommend anyway, even if they didn't pay me. And my mods here will prove it, because I've been recommending this before I was affiliated with them. I've been using Proton for several years. Proton Mail gives you at least your, you get email, you get drive storage. You basically get the equivalent of all of Google, the Google suite, calendar, you've got file storage, you've got a VPN, though. They don't give you that. You've got a password manager. They don't give you that. And the password manager is free, by the way, if you want. The paid-for version gives you some more features. You've got email aliasing, so you can actually set up email aliases so you don't have to give the same email out all the time. You can give a email that just redirects it so that if that email gets compromised, it doesn't, you can kill it off, and then every single account that you actually create, you can have a different email that all goes in the same one. So that way, imagine if one account gets breached. All they know is that alias email, and they can't go spraying the credentials on all the other accounts. So that way, it makes it much harder, because if your email is exposed, say you're john@smith.com, okay? And you're john@smith.com everywhere. And let's say your password leaks, and it's for... I don't know. Let's just say it's some kind of random social media app or whatever, and now it's in a leaked database somewhere. Well, now attackers can take that information and then say, oh, john@smith.com exists on GitHub. Slam, 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 while I'm also slamming their Facebook, while I'm also slamming their Twitter, while I'm also slamming their TikTok and everything, because it's all using the same email. It reduces your area of exposure. It really helps out. That's why Proton Mail works so well, and you can manage the aliases and everything. So yeah, Proton Mail is definitely what I would recommend. Don't have issues with Molvad. You can actually get a discount if you pay for them in cryptocurrency. Proton Mail also accepts Bitcoin, but Molvad accepts Monero and cash. So, yeah. My cousin thinks that. Don't buy keyboards from Temu. God, no, don't buy keyboards from Temu. I don't buy shit from Temu. Temu is a horrible cesspit of, dark patterns. Not to mention, let me just say this, let me say this very, very succinctly here. Fuck all of my friends that keep spamming me with Temu links trying to make them a few bucks. I don't want your fucking Temu shit. I will never buy from Temu. Quit bothering me with this shit. Always use Google keyboards. I like open source software on GitHub sometimes. Yeah, it depends. I mean, there's some good stuff out there. VLC is an exception. Well, VLC is open source, if I'm not mistaken. So they fall under the argument of what I say, yep, open source. Yeah, so VLC runs under the argument of what I said of, I don't trust free implicitly unless it's open source. VLC is open source. By the way, the T is silent when producing often. No, it's not. Character advance of no longer wealth signaling. Yep. Do you want to know the honest truth? So the funny thing is, I've worked in a few brands in the past that cater to the ultra wealthy. Poor people dress like they're dress in brands. Rich people don't. The actual truth is, properly wealthy people are pretty demure. Do you know how you judge a true this is what I learned many years ago. People judge a person's wealth by their car. Do you know how I judge a person's wealth? Let's say they're driving around or all that. I judge them by their tires on their car. If you're driving a BMW and those tires are bald, you're broke. If you're driving a Toyota that's clean, no issues, no cosmetic issues, things like that, and the tires on it are good, they're doing okay. I've literally met a multimillionaire who was still driving his car from when he was in college. He had a Jeep Wagoneer from 1985. I used to do work for his clinic, and he made it the company car. Literally, anyone in the company would, be able to borrow it, and use it, and he had, several dental clinics and stuff like that. And I remember going to the dock and I'm like, that Jeep's really nice, but it needs a tune-up, it needs work and all this, because like everyone didn't care about it. They were abusing it. So I went out of my way and got it repaired for him. He gave me the company card, of course, to do it. And he's like, just go take care of it and, do it needs to be done, because he knows I'm a Jeep guy. Inline 6, like, that thing was a beast. And when I lived in Texas until I got my car shipped in for 6 months, that was my car. So, like, that's what I mean by people that are wealthy, they take care of their stuff. He still had his car from college. Like, he tells me the story. You know the story about this Jeep here? I graduated from dental school, and I immediately went with my wife, who was then my girlfriend, and I bought this car. Think packets get worse with every new generation. Yeah, I don't know about that. Lenovo's warranty is still pretty great. I still like Lenovo. They do follow me on TikTok. I still like Lenovo. But there are certain crap lines in their ThinkPads, to be honest. Like, you get the E series, they're always kind of, yeah. The T and X series, they do a little bit better. I managed to upkeep the PC I use. Yep. Because I set up my mother's phone, she doesn't get the option to leave the film on. I do the same thing. If I set up a device for somebody, I get the warm fuzzies of the peel. It's like sex for your fingers. Planning to replace the C drive with the 1 terabyte drive. What are you just doing? Clonezilla and then expanding the partition? ESET Nod 32 is the best. Yeah, ESET Nod 32 is absolutely amazing. So, a lot of you know about how the assembly language is a very efficient language, right? And how Roller Coaster Tycoon was written in assembly, and that's why it runs so smooth. ESET Nod 32 is also written in assembly. And it ran so fast. Security is the world of repetition and evangelism. What about if you want to stupid stuff? I mean, Darwinism is a thing. I haven't installed or used antivirus since I've been on Linux and have yet to be infected with the virus. There's no better antivirus with the meat sack between the keyboard and the chair. Yep. I don't have antivirus installed on my Linux right now. But once I get to the point where I can afford it, you bet your ass I'm putting CrowdStrike on this. I'm putting CrowdStrike in my whole home lab because I want to get that EDR, that extended detection and response. And then I want to feed it all into a SIM, a system information and event monitoring. And then, if I get that built out enough, and I actually see some warrant, I might do a SOAR, but that might be a little bit too much. Scalable, orchestrated, automated response. Work from home person. You need schedule, timeout, and social. Absolutely. Sun gives you vitamin D. Yes, and plants crave electrolytes too. Okay, seriously. Enough sleep, exercise, and healthy food are all you need for good mental health? Absolutely. Also, seeing occupational sunrise is a good idea. Personally, need a VPN to watch corn in my state. Wah, 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 wah. Hold on. Wait. Bruce Steakhouse with 3. Okay. Do you think it's bad practice to let your password manager be your 2FA password generator? Code generator. There's arguments for and against this. I personally don't do it. Personally. For the average person, it's fine. The only thing I will urge you is that seed key you put in your password generator, back that up offline. Like, get a KeyPass XC or something like that, make a database, store it offline in case something happens. Always make backups of your passwords and everything like that. Like, 3, 2, 1 is the golden rule here. 3 different backups, 2 different mediums, and 1 off-site. So you can, like, put it in a flash drive or, if you want to be eccentric, a floppy drive or things like that. And then you can also wrap it again in a VeriCrypt container. But either way, so what I do for multi-factor authentication is I actually use YubiKeys. I am a Yubico ambassador. You can definitely get these online. I do have a link in my bio. I have a link in my bio that you can buy them from. I recommend buying at least 2 of these at a time. The reason being is because these are each unique. So you have to register each one. Now, the new YubiKeys as of May of 2024, since version 5.7 firmware, allow for holding up to 64 TOTP timed one-time passcodes, those rolling codes, and 100 passkeys. The older versions only allow 32 TOTP and 25 passkeys. They also do SSH of 2048 bits, whereas the new ones can do 3072 to 4096. You don't have to worry about looking for the versions. It's any YubiKey you buy brand new since May of 2024 is going to have version 5.7 firmware in there. And no, you can't update the firmware. It's part of the security features because you technically don't want a security key that you can actually rewrite. There's reasons for that. Plus, this 5.7 one fixes the flaw that they were talking about a few months ago that I have a YouTube video on. Anyway, this is my little YubiKey Nano. I keep this plugged into my keyboard. But I have a whole bunch of different ones. These are some of the ones I still gotta get around to doing some torture tests, like throw them through laundry machines and all of that to see if I can get this straight. Why the hell did my camera just do that? Really? But yeah, these are my preferred golden standard thing. Are they a little overkill for some people? Possibly. But they are the most secure option. A lot of businesses are moving into them. Does it work for Windows Hello? Not out the box from my understanding. Well, there is a way that if I recall, I've never tried it, to use a smart card as a multi-factor authentication device. And these can also act as a smart card. For those of you that are in the military, you might know that term as a CAC card, Central Access Card, or Central Access Command. CAC, C-A-C. You know, your military ID that has that little magnetic, like contacts in there, and then you have to insert it. Yeah, that's a CAC card. That's a smart card. You could use that as an MFA, and a YubiKey allows that in a USB format. So, yeah. No, CAC, not CAK. I think it's CAC. Ever use Alibaba? Not Alibaba, but AliExpress. AliExpress and Alibaba are basically the same thing, except Alibaba is more if you're ordering bulk. Like you're ordering for restocking your hardware and everything. You're buying in quantity. AliExpress is just like Amazon, but China. On steroids. Hello from Ireland. What's up? LBLC open source. Never have, never will. Had to remove my mother's account, and she had her debit card in there screaming in Temu hate. I hate Temu. How horrible is Temu to get removed? Because I heard like so many horror stories about the dark patterns. Salutations from Thailand. Hey, how's it going? Love open source until the founders decide to sell it. That's why you get yourself with a decent license that doesn't allow them to change it, like a GPL v3 or something like that. Quiet well. I usually find it easier to find free software by searching open source, otherwise I get free trials. Well, when you're in the Windows world, yeah. When you're in the Linux world, it's kind of hard to find proprietary stuff that makes you pay for things, unless it's in the more enterprisey space. Let me put it this way. It's not that we're opposed to paying for software. It just has to be good software, and most good software is community built. I like my Kirkland jacket. I'm poor and don't dress in brands. I dress no-name brand, nothing nice. People think I'm homeless. Holes in my shirts, pants, socks. You know what's funny? Do you know how many wealthy people basically fashion themselves to look homeless, and that's the style? And then these shirts go for like $300, $400, $500 with holes in them. Hell, I remember back in the 2000s when I was in middle school and high school, distressed jeans. Do you remember that? You would immediately buy nice jeans and then immediately go to your grandfather's hardware, shack, and then start running Dremels over it and cut little pieces and, just stretch it and all that. Or you could pay some of these fashion stores to distress your jeans for you. Dress in black hat swag and a few DEF CON shirts I buy. I mostly dress in tech shirts too, because the reality is once you're in tech long enough, you just happen to have all these shirts from all these vendors and tech things ends up being your wardrobe. It cracks people up that I bring home and they see my closet and they're like, wait, you actually hang your DEF CON shirts up on hangers? I'm like, yeah. Like, I hang them up right next to my button-down shirts. Still have brand stuff, but I bought it 10 plus years ago when things were actually quality. Yep. Car is a good investment for getting into A to B. That's it. Exactly. Longer though. Exactly. Yeah, I did live in Texas at one point. I lived in Dallas. Ever drive a government vehicle before? Yep. Does a Humvee count? So my mom's ex-boyfriend, when I was a teen, and I was learning how to drive, was in charge of a military depot near here and had the ability to sign out vehicles with permission. So his son and me learned to drive in a Humvee, and our parents were joking about, well, if we're going to unleash these assholes, let's at least do it in light armored vehicles so they don't kill themselves. And my God, those Humvees, they got some torque on them, I'll tell you. My Honda better live forever. I have wonder if he has blue sky. Who has blue sky? Kind of catching up on everything. The best dopamine boost, removing new tech film. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like finger sex. Warm fuzzies all the way to the brain. Had it since 2009. Assemblies in that fission will factor in the programmer. It depends, but it removes some additional things. To get it properly done. But yeah, if you do it right, it's extremely fast and efficient. Virus for all 3 viruses that are made for Linux. So Linux actually has more rootkits. Rootkits are more the issue. And if you install antivirus on Linux, most of the time it's actually to check for Windows malware. Because think about it, a lot of Linux stuff is serving the Windows devices. I don't keep all my eggs in one bucket. What's more respectable in your opinion, home lab or virtual home lab? Fix half a dozen the other. What's more respectable is the education you get out of it. Doesn't matter how the fuck you use the equipment. I will respect the person that can only have a $200 home lab just as much as the person that can have a $10,000 home lab. The reality is I will respect the person more that can get more value out of that in terms of the knowledge and stuff they can get out of it. So, because virtual home labs are better for certain purposes, physical home labs are better for others. For example, if you're doing cloud. Cloud isn't a physical lab. Cloud is often you are on AWS or Amazon or DigitalOcean or Hetzner or Linode or you name it, and you're pushing a Terraform. Maybe, you're doing cloud formations or all these other things. So it's more so about the value of what you get out of it than the actual thing you're doing with the thing itself. I don't keep all my eggs in one bucket. Are you talking about the password manager? Yeah, I have several password managers. Like I said, KeyPass XC for offline with a VeriCrypt container. And then I use Bitwarden and Proton Pass for different things. And then also Jump Cloud Password Manager is kind of nice too for other things too. Please repeat that tip with numbers. With the numbers. What numbers? Oh, 3, 2, 1. 3 different backups, 2 different mediums, and one of them is offsite. It's called 3, 2, 1. It's a good bare minimum for backup. It's not the rule you always need to follow, but it's the good guideline to start following for everything. You can always go a little bit more overboard and have more backups. There's nothing wrong with that. low. First, okay. Conditional access kernel. That's different. I have a card to easily get into my workplace. Yep, the cat card. Or it could be an RFID or NFC card, depending on the readers you have. So a lot of them have the HID readers. There's other different brands too for that. Do YubiKey work for Windows Hello out of the box? Yes. I just got a workstation that has it available, and I'm now password logged. Okay. Haven't really tried it. So that's good to know. Yeah, so I got the, I already said that 321. Alibaba was great for electronic components. Alibaba for OEMs. What about Shein? Shein's just another Chinese company. I don't buy clothing or anything like that. And the other, you know what's really funny about Shein? Do you know most Chinese people on Xiaohongshu didn't know about Shein? That's a Chinese company selling primarily to Americans. Blew my fucking mind. So many people didn't even know about it. And it's like this big thing. Like, everyone in the US knows about them, but barely anyone in China knew about them. If I had the chance to go to DEF CON, I would geek out. Yeah, DEF CON's great. Stream keep freezing every now and then for somebody else. That might be your connection. I'm not seeing any dropped frames as of right now. Knock on wood. I have driven a government vehicle before to pick up financial declarations. Going to buy PC parts next month. Nice. Current PC gaming hardware. I got the entire list over on Twitch. For the hardware on this guy. It's my workstation. It's got a 3070, a 5950X, 64 gigs of RAM, and like 8 terabytes of hard drive space across like 4 disks. 2 of them are NVMe and 2 of them are SATA. I originally put the 2 SATA disks in it as a RAID 1, so I had a backup, so it would actually back up its own image internally until I had the NAS. And then I just repurposed those SATA disks as scratch disks. So, when you back up something like a password manager, do you have a schedule that you go off of that tells you when to do a new backup? Okay, you want to know what my schedule is? Whenever I change anything. If I change anything, let me put it this way. With Proton Pass, you can back up the archive and everything. So I try to back it up every time I make a change. With KeyPass XC, same thing. Yeah. Most of the security things, let me put it this way. The majority of things in cybersecurity is about developing good habits. There is no silver bullet that will fix things. The weakest part, okay, the most vulnerable part of everything you do in tech is the human. The human is the weakest factor. So it's your job to improve your skills and your habits. And that's why I get upset with a lot of people that keep going like, well, I want to, they keep looking at like a tech software or a tech hardware that as a magic silver bullet to fix their problem. And like you have a lot of these people that very often, like Tails users. Tails Linux users are extremely bad at this. They get this piece of software. They think just because it runs on a flash drive that, oh, it's going to fix everything. But they never read the fucking manual of Tails. They don't even understand its use case. And I tell people all the time, it's like, Tails is a better thing if you're using computers you don't trust. Like, say, you're on the run, you're using an internet cafe, and you need to have access to things. That's a good use of it. But if you're using it on your own damn computer every single time, makes no fucking sense. At that point, I'm going to tell you, fire up a virtual machine, get Unix. Unix will be much better. But even then, it's like, I have to explain to people all the time when they're like, well, you know, with a VPN, I'm going to be more private. And then I look at them and I say, so while you're on that VPN, are you still logged into Facebook and all the accounts that you were on before? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, great. Because that VPN does shit for you except give you get around a geographical block because they already know it's you and it's constantly phoning home. So it knows you just switched over to a VPN, and then, you know, like user behaviors. You can, if you know how to, if you think about how you're using the internet, then how you access your internet, you can be more private than with a VPN or even Tor. But that means you don't log into anything. That means you're disabling cookies and all this other stuff and all that other stuff. Yeah, and then, like, I also have to explain to people, there is a big difference between privacy and security. Privacy is blinds on your windows. Security is locks on your door. They are two completely different things. You can be secure but not private, and you can be private but not secure. That is a possibility. And that is one thing that a lot of people need to really understand. Every time, yeah. Social engineering is the most powerful hack. Yep. Social engineering is the oldest and most powerful tool in anyone's arsenal in terms of cybersecurity. The reason being, y'all know the story of confidence men, right? Con men. That's just social engineering. I want you to think about this. Would you let a random person who just shows up to your door also and sell you a vacuum? That's social engineering. Most sales, if you want to think about it, most people who are in sales, what are they doing? They are social engineering you for the sale. Car salesmen are some of the worst at this. You know what I'm talking about. Rake you over the barrel, make you think that you're getting a good deal, convince you to get the financing plan through the dealer that's like 3, 4, 5, 6 times the amount that you actually would get through your credit union or bank. That's a form of social engineering. You can be a hacker without knowing tech if you know how to social engineer. It's the same thing as like, and this is why I tell people, when you call customer service, be super nice. You'll be surprised what you can actually pull out of companies that they're not supposed to tell you just by being nice and having a casual conversation and bringing things up. You'd be surprised. Many people failed to take an honest look at their personal risk profile. 99% of people, guess what? The new world government here isn't watching you. Yep. Like, there's a few TikTok creators and cybersecurity creators that I've, like, even had words with them where they're like, you know, there's people tracking me and all that stuff. Like, these are legitimate, like, they know cybersecurity and everything like that. And I'm like, no one gives a shit about you. Like, I don't mean that in an asshole way, but I mean, like, here's the honest truth. 99% of people out there, the government doesn't give a shit about you. They don't care about you to spy on you or anything like that. Yes, there are assholes out there that'll maybe stalk you and all that. We've had a few people come in here where they're dealing with stalkers and shit like that. I've had to help people shake stalkers and everything like that. But yeah. Google, FB, and many others have trackers and apps. That's how you get the free apps. Well, yeah, and even worse, Facebook, Meta, they have what's called a pixel. Not the Pixel phone, and not the pixel on the screen like you're thinking of, like where your screen's made of all these pixels. It's called a pixel. You can look this up. Lots of social media apps have a pixel. TikTok has a pixel. I think Twitter has a pixel. Like all these social. So what it is that website developers can add this pixel into their website, and they can start tracking analytics and everything. And that will phone home to Facebook. And Facebook is making shadow profiles on everyone. Meta is making shadow profiles on anyone, even if you don't have an account with Meta. They have all that data in a shadow profile. And then they're able to, with all these data points, pull it together. And here's what's scary. When you go to make an account, they'll already have a profile on you because of all the things you browsed, and they've made the connections with the cookies and all that on your desktop to who you are and phoning home in beacons. That's why I crack up when everyone says TikTok is what they scare of with the data being collected. When I say Facebook has always been horrible. I've been bitching about Facebook and Meta for a decade and a half now. So that's the honest truth. So you have to understand there's a big difference with things. SIM card lock is crucial. Not really. So the thing is, they're moving away from SIM swapping and all that, all the way into System Signal 7, which is a whole other thing. There's ways to compromise your phone and forward your calls and all that to another device by compromising the system out there that handles roaming calls. And the unfortunate thing is, there's no way to completely fix this vulnerability until we get rid of all the 2G and 3G towers left in the world, because it's a holdover from those days with the protocols with System Signal 7. 5G internet, 5G cell doesn't have this flaw. I think 4G doesn't either. So once we shift over to those, it'll be fine. But here's the kicker. Europe kind of fucked themselves. I think they have a requirement for like all these different things out there, and a lot of people don't realize a lot of cars in Europe, they are required to connect to a cell phone. Not your cell phone, they have a cell modem built in. And a lot of the car manufacturers, to skimp, put 2G modems in. And maybe a 3G modem. Just to be able to do whatever they need to do to comply with the law and everything. I forget the specifics. I was talking to a friend about it who's in Europe. And the rest of the world is boned because automakers cheaped out. It's the truth. I mean, like the complete, reason is auto, because you also have like phone towers in other countries and everything like that. But until the world gets rid of their 2G and 3G systems completely, we'll still have that. Free open source apps. I got a vacuum Bible and a set of encyclopedias. Foursquare. God! Are we talking about the game or the social network? Because I forgot about both of them until that. I just had to do this with a vendor. I was pinging my arch at the side, point, there's a sales pitch. Yep. Honey and vinegar. They don't care about the egotistical ones, really. What? My short URL website has pixels to track. Yep. That's how it is. Data is the most valuable thing. Data is the new oil. And that's why I tell people, I'm not completely sold on Apple being the completely benevolent, company they are now with our data. We've been very lucky and privileged to this point that Apple takes the approach they do on privacy. But at the end of the day, Apple is a company. They are a public company. They are beholden to shareholders. What do shareholders want? Line go up. I don't know about y'all, but have you been paying attention that Apple is not really innovating? Eventually, Apple's going to come to the realization they're sitting on all this personal data. And they're going to find a way to monetize it. I'm not saying it's going to happen like tomorrow. But all I can say is I can see it's going to happen at some point. Apple did install AI tracking in the latest update. Yeah. But it's, it's gonna get weird. Let me see. Does Facebook know when I have visited bad sites? Probably. If you've logged into your Facebook if you've logged into your Facebook and you're, well, even you don't even have to be logged in. Because what it'll do is with the cookies and everything, like, yeah, honestly, Yitz is the better one to know all that because he does the marketing thing, and like, he has the marketing background. He will tell you about some really unethical ways that advertisers do to get your information. The Pixel cookies, because it's not stored to user devices. No, they work hand in hand. What's up with Oracle getting fined for hosting TikTok? I don't think Oracle's getting fined because of that stay. Were they fined? No, it's not that they're getting fined. It's the same thing. All right, hold on. It's not that they're getting fined. It's that they could potentially get fined because a lot of people don't seem to understand. For all intents and purposes, TikTok is still, under the law, banned because it hasn't fit the legal requirements for transitioning. Not transitioning, for complying with the law. All Trump's done is give an extension as of right now that will allow them to operate. That's all they've done. TikTok isn't completely out of the woods yet, and that's why I also was telling people in the past couple of streams, you need to still treat TikTok like it's going to be banned. Follow your creators on their other platforms. And if you're a creator on TikTok, you need to start diversifying. The honest truth is, yes, I got like 370,000 people on TikTok. I'm thankful for all of you. But I am still preparing for that platform to go away, which is why I've been pivoting to YouTube and Twitch more than I have TikTok. Yesterday and the day before are probably the only times I've actually really been on TikTok making videos. And it was also, if you notice, the very few political videos I've ever made because of an extreme situation. Device browser. What are your thoughts on CN using the built-in Leo wire trap in our telecoms? Wiretap. Oh, you mean that China actually used our own damn systems that we use as a backdoor to wiretap systems? You mean the same thing that cybersecurity's been saying, that you can't create a backdoor just for yourself because a backdoor for you is the backdoor for everyone? You mean the same thing as I bitched about it for multiple streams about FIPS 185 and why I don't care for Hillary Clinton because of her proposal to have the Clipper chip back in the I think it was the early 2000s when she was a senator, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. You mean that whole thing with escrowed key communication under FIPS 185 and that whole Clipper chip? When the government was actually trying to say, we don't trust you with encryption, we want a backdoor so that if you do anything illegal, or the fact that, the FBI, with their going after Apple for all these years, saying we don't want you to encrypt your backups and we don't want you to do end-to-end encryption because we want to go after criminals. Give us a backdoor to get into the systems, and then we all were crying foul, and Apple took them to court? Or was it FBI took them to court? You mean that one? Do you mean the FBI that's finally waking up to the reality that, oh shit, we fucked up and we let the back door in, that now anyone can use this back door? So now we had to make a joint statement with CISA, the Cybersecurity Cyber Infrastructure Safety Administration, that, hey, you all should be using end-to-end encrypted apps like Signal? That one? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Pixel trackers, cookies, lots of different terms for similar things. At my day job, at my enterprise, we strip trackers for inbound emails for that very reason. Proton does that too. Proton will strip the trackers for you. You can also do that with Avanon and other email security gateways too. Also, images and emails contain trackers, right? No. Not Not really. It's more the headers of the email as they're explaining. So there is a way you can attach a read receipt and then track information in the email so they can tell if you've opened it and you can strip that information out. It's not really images per se that have that, but yeah. But you can strip metadata and things like that. It kind of depends, because the thing is, if you put too... see, here's the thing. You have to understand, if you put too much stuff in an email, like too much tracker and whatever that, it'll flag any filter. But Apple did install it. Yeah, okay, we talked about that. Yes, I thought about this very thing earlier this week, but BTWM new, caught your post on the Blue Sky. Nice. How's it going, Tickle Man? Man, I forgot to actually post that I'm live on Blue Sky. God damn, I gotta fix my bot. Well, not fix, I gotta add the feature. I just haven't gotten around to it because I had my freaking health issues mess me up, and I took the past few days of PTO just to kind of recover. Put that on Blue Sky now. Twitch.tv/CheapGeek3D. Gotta refresh, because otherwise it doesn't pull the right screen. Here we go. Activated on default. I think there's some phones it's not working on, like my iPhone. Why do we care about our data, such as cookies, etc.? Because the more data that you're actually giving out there, the less secure you are. Do you know about the National Public Data Breach, or the MC2 data breach? So by giving your information out there, there's these companies called data brokers, and what they do is they go basically hoover up all the kind of information you could think of. Many of these eventually collect your social security numbers, your addresses, your known associates, relatives, names, changes, jobs, you name it. And there's hundreds of these data brokers. That's why services like Incogni, Delete Me. I am affiliated with Delete Me. Delete Me is awesome. You can check it in the link bio if you want. Or one of the mods, you can do the exclamation delete me thing in the Twitch chat for that. There's also Aura and all that. But anyway, the idea is basically that all these data brokers have all your information. National Public Data Breach was how a lot of people had their information leaked. The reality is, it's weak. They're going after the data brokers rather than the companies directly to get a lot of this information. There's very many cases where you'll go for a background check for work, not thinking anything of it, and that background check is gathering your information and selling it. That's why I keep saying we need general data protection regulations in the United States. We are one of the few civilized countries that don't have it. Canada has PIPEDA. South Africa has POPIA. Europe has GDPR. China has PIPL. That's right. The same damn country. We're worried about, like, oh my God, China's going to have our data. Has better laws and regulations about what data they can collect. Put that in perspective for you. Think about that. The company the country we're worried about having our data and collecting our data through apps like TikTok has better data regulations than our own damn country. But why do we not have any data laws? Because big tech, if we put data protection laws in, limiting how much data they can collect, how they can use it, and all of that, would cost social media a lot of money. TikTok makes more money off of our data the same way Twitter does, the same way Facebook does, the same way Instagram does, the same way YouTube does. Think about that. They run on data. Data is more valuable than dollars. That's how it goes. Um, is incognito mode safe on browsers? No. Incognito mode is for the most part bullshit. It doesn't really make you any more private than anything. People have this common misconception that it's going to give you this magical wall of things. Incognito doesn't really add anything. Yeah, sure, it gives up a new browser where you don't have the cookies attached or anything, but that doesn't stop like the scripts that are running in there. They can easily do correlations to figure out that you're still you, even though you're in an incognito browser. So, again, comes down to more of user behaviors than it does magical tools. It's useful at times, incognito, but it's not this magical bullet a lot of people think it is. And there's actually been like a lot of articles, and I think there's even a court case, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on if there was a court case for that, but you can Google it. I think there was. I'm pretty sure there was. Anyway. Let's see. How does it affect me if Apple sell that 500,000 people are skiing and they are a good target for ski ads? Because it's never just about skiing. It's the totality of your data. I want you to think about this. Apple doesn't just have information on your photos. A lot of women use it as a period tracker. They can get information on your cycle to target you better and things like that. This data gets scary in how it can actually pinpoint you. There have been ads that have shown up on people's pages and outed them as gay at work. Or did you hear about the girl that was pregnant? And how did her father figure it out? Coupons from Target. I'm not even making this up. Let's pull this up. Target, pregnant girl data. This happened in 2012. Target found out a teen girl was pregnant before her father did. Yeah. This is why I keep telling you. Y'all need to stop deluding yourself into thinking that, it doesn't matter that TikTok knows that, I just ski or anything. It's the totality of all the points of data that are collected and how they are used. Think about that. And how did they figure that out? Target assigns every customer a guest ID number tied to their credit card, name, or email address that becomes a bucket that stores a history of everything they've bought and any demographic information Target has collected from them or bought from other sources. Using that, Poll looked at historical buying data for all the ladies who had signed up for Target baby registries in the past. So I want you to understand. Again, this goes back to what I say. It's not about how you access. It's about how you use. Target was just an example. So let me put it this way. Let me put this in your head. If one can do it, any can do it. Why the hell do you think all these stores give out these discount cards? CVS, Kroger's, Albertsons. Hell, when you buy your Costco membership, your Sam's Club membership, why do you think you all have a unique ID you got to scan in? And then when you got to go purchase it, you got to scan it again. It's because they're getting money off of your purchasing data-wise to understand your buying habits and to better use that, either to market to you or know how to better improve their stores. What do you think all these gas stations are doing with these discount cards and all of that stuff. What do you think they're doing it for? You think they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart and just saying, you know what? Our gas was a little bit expensive. You know what? Just take 5 cents off any time with this card here. No, schmuck. They're incentivizing you to give your data every single time you're using it so they can better build a profile on you and better have an understanding of their customers, as well as bring you back. Think about that. Went on a tangent there. Okay. Hold up, scroll up. FBI signed a deal with Oracle to use their servers and systems in December 2024. Yeah, Oracle's a massive data center. They also do data centers for Facebook. We use Oracle at work. Oracle's a pretty freaking big company. Like, they're up there with AWS and Microsoft. They're just not as glamorous as the other companies. Because Oracle has always been a business and enterprise-focused company, so you only are aware of Oracle if you're in the business. It's not like Microsoft and Amazon and all this that have consumer sides of things, and then they also have professional sides of things. That's what you need to understand. Let me see. Okay, looking where it's going, we'll probably try to kill the other first, Musk or Elon. Those two have also talked about a cage match for many years. You know that? They've talked about a cage match at certain points, if I recall. The honest truth? Pay attention to Elon Musk. He's in the middle of breakdowns. Tesla is on thin water. Pun fully intended. Let's talk about this. So you know how Musk actually moved his manufacturing facility to Texas? You know what you need a lot of when you're manufacturing cars and all of this stuff? Because a lot of people don't think about this. Industrial equipment. Especially in terms of data centers and all that. What do you need to cool it, operate it? Water. Exactly. And what does Texas not have a lot of? Water. Their lack of water may actually end up driving Tesla broke. Tesla is already petering in several ways. It is unrealistic to think that a company is going to give you 12x gains, which is the evaluation Tesla has. Infinite growth is unsustainable because the laws of economics show that most resources are in fact scarce. Most economics runs on a scarcity model. There is one natural lake in Texas. This is true. I lived in Texas. Up until air conditioning existed, no one really lived in Texas. I want you to go look at the population charts of Texas, and you'll see it starts up right around air conditioning, because you cannot live in Texas without air conditioning. The average person can't do it. In many ways, Texas is more brutal than Mexico. Arizona, same thing. The difference is that Arizona is a smaller state. Texas is not. Yeah, that one. Signal or WhatsApp is about half and half within the org. Signal all day long. Signal. I use Signal and Matrix communication. I have Signal and Matrix. Those are the two ones I use for secure communications. I have my own Matrix server. You're more than welcome to join my Matrix server and chat in that chat room. It's like Discord, but I host my own server. It's in Europe, same as my Mastodon server. And there's encrypted chat rooms in the Matrix server. It's a little bit more complicated to use than Signal, but I like Signal a lot better. WhatsApp I do not like since Meta acquired them. Meta is pulling too much data out of WhatsApp to the point I had weird situations that I could not explain, where I travel a lot, okay? And as you know, WhatsApp is still used around the world. I still have WhatsApp, but I begrudgingly use it. In fact, I'm an asshole and I tell people all the time, this is how I got a lot of my people to start messaging me on Signal. If you send me a regular text, I will purposely delay my response. If you send me a message on WhatsApp, I will purposely delay my response. If you send me a Signal message, I will respond fast. Social engineering you for a little bit of dopamine. Gets people to switch to Signal when they start realizing that you're just a little bit more convenient on Signal. But WhatsApp, back to the metadata thing. So they were collecting a lot of metadata. So I was traveling around with the, and I was having a lot of conversations with people on WhatsApp that I had no connection to whatsoever on Facebook or anything. Like, we're talking about, I just had my phone. I don't, for many years before I killed my Facebook profile, I didn't even have Facebook on my phone. Just WhatsApp out of the meta apps. Put this in perspective. And then when I go to check my Facebook profile, it would sometimes recommend me as a friend the people I was talking to on WhatsApp, and we had no mutual connections. 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 here. You see what I'm saying? Or it is in this case. But you get what I mean. Meta is collecting data on you. What, you think they're going to give you a free end-to-end encrypted app like that and not do anything? Signal, on the other hand, because some people are going to say, what about Signal? Signal's a non-profit foundation. They literally don't want to profit off your data. They are run by a non-profit foundation, and they put a lot of their code out there for open source. You can check it. When you deleted FB, did you have a friend check if the profile was actually deleted? Yeah. Yeah. I deleted it years ago. I downloaded my data. I pulled it off. What are you doing? Does the FBI need a backup, though, if they have programs like UFED, Physical Analyzer? Sure. I'm not familiar with that one. Hold on 1 second. UFED, Physical Analyzer. Oh, you're talking about Cellbrite. Okay. I just say that. Like a Cellbrite machine. There's too many acronyms in our frickin' stuff. So here's the thing. If the FBI wants to figure out a backdoor into a phone, just do the same fucking thing as every other ethical hacker and find your exploits. Just because you're a little bitch and can't figure out your own exploit doesn't mean we should make one for you. Intentional backdoors are weaknesses for everyone. There should never be an intentional backdoor. Oh, dang, I think the Taco Bell ad that just played in your stream may have worked. Looked good. I'm in my second semester for cybersecurity major. Do you know when or if internships are required? Okay, Dale, for you, a few weeks ago, I made the perfect video for you. It is called, Do You Need College or Boot Camps to Get into IT or Cybersecurity? So I made that a few weeks ago. Right here. The guy with his head exploding, that little background. Watch that. About a 20-minute video. My advice. And yes, internships is one of them. But I also talk about certs. I talk about my journey home labbing a little bit. I don't show you what my home lab is, but I talk about what you can do with ideas for home labbing and CTFs and all this other stuff. So, yeah. That video helped you out a lot. I'm honestly really trying to create a lot more YouTube content that is more relatable to a lot of the people trying to get into cybersecurity and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great videos out there for cybersecurity, but there's not a lot out there to help people along the way. So I'm trying to create resources to help y'all. That's why I have the Discord. That's why I have the Matrix, if you're interested in that. It's why I do this. Which, by the way, y'all are welcome to join the Discord. Follow me on Blue Sky. Follow me on Mastodon. Follow me on YouTube. Even if TikTok goes away. And Twitch. By the way, live streams, simulcast in Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So I've got chat from all three. Backdoor, I mean. Okay. Would love to hear your take on low versus high level languages. I don't do coding too much. There's advantages and disadvantages for the different things. The problem with low-level languages, a lot of them, they tend to be a little bit more complex, like things like assembly, all of that stuff. It really depends on your use case and your purpose. Now, I do see a lot of people using Rust more and more. I kind of like Rust a little bit more than C. Y'all are going to hate me for that, because conceptually, it fixes a lot of the issues that I would have with people having programs written in C in terms of memory leaks and certain issues like that, because Rust has a little bit more of a requirement around the security of how you use memory and things like that. Not too much of a coder. I do mostly Python and Bash. I'm more in the cybersecurity engineer, kind of administration things with that, doing Linuxy and vuln management and things like that. But that's my experience having played with it and dabbled with it a little bit. And Rust is a big reason why Android has actually been able to decrease the amount of exploits they've seen year over year. God damn. I gotta move faster. Opinions on Telegram. Oh. I got another YouTube video on that. Okay? Okay? This is great. This is great. See, this is the great thing about YouTube. I can be like, I've already got these long spelled out answers. Okay, where's that video? Hold up, hold up. I know I made it a while ago. There we go. Telegram's founder was arrested. It's not just about free speech. Why default encryption matters. Long story short, I don't like Telegram. This will tell you why. Telegram doesn't really, yeah. Use Optory for that. It feels kind of scary, but I don't know how else they would do it. Yep. Great, though. The amount of data we can buy for skip tracing is insane. Oh, absolutely. I used to do IT for some debt collectors, and it's amazing the amount of data that they had. They also got pissed when I told them one time when I'm like, all right. I said, let's do an experiment. Try and skip trace me. Because I didn't have social media at the time, basically. Because Silicon Valley data runs on data, Google would not exist without our data. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. This shit is getting concerning. Trump is arguing that Native Americans don't have birthright citizenship. Well, you know what? He can go pound sand, because guess what? His executive order on banning birthright citizenship has already been overturned. It's a 14th Amendment, bitch. He would need not only the United States Congress, he would need, 2/3 of states to ratify an amendment to overdo that. He ain't gonna have it happen. This is why I also tell people, love it or hate it, the founders actually did build in these little mechanisms and controls to prevent tyrannical actions. They saw things like this happening. And that is exactly why I tell people the Electoral College may suck sometimes, but there's a reason it's there. Because you have to understand, the United States does not run one presidential election. It's an aggregate of 50 different elections. Think about that. And what is a state? A state is a mini country. The problem is the United States of America has really lost the way to understand that each state is its own unique character in the same way the European Union has different countries. The difference is that their culture between each country is radically different than between each of our states. Now NVIDIA synthetic data. Oh yeah, that's been fun. There's a class action on Incognito right now. Oh, interesting. I didn't use them. Even Tor isn't all hiding. Having worked at security research org, that ran exit nodes for research purposes. Yeah. Yeah, you got to use Tor properly. And even then, not a silver bullet. People ask me all the time, what's the most secure way to, talk to someone? And I regularly say tin cans and string. The most secure way to be on the internet? Unplug yourself. They can use interest and use models to predict certain things. You being for real? Of course I'm being for real. Unless I say bazinga. Well, not really. I'm not Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory. You get my point. Automod heckin' got me for my last name. Wait, what? For a last name. They want to increase the white birth rate at any cost. Hold on. What are you saying? Oh. Wait, why did Autumn... Oh, I didn't see that come through. Sorry. I would have allowed that. I just didn't catch it. They want to increase the white birth rate at any cost, even if those white kids aren't treated well. Yeah. Target knows better than Father. Yeah. So, like, here's the thing. I want you to understand. I am pro-DEI, but a lot of people have the idea of DEI wrong. All DEI is bringing in the actual diversity that we naturally have into the world in the workplace. Do you notice that the most successful companies actually have DEI programs? And here's the thing that pisses off a lot of people. Technically speaking, I am a DEI hire. But I mean that in the sense of that would check boxes for them. But what it pisses off is when I have to tell people, like, if you think that you have to get hired by using discriminatory, things just and that you can't get a job just because you're white or something like that, bro, that's more an understanding of how you just need to get good. I don't understand how the same person that will be on a video game bitching about, oh, the guy sucks, and they'll just say you need to get good, doesn't understand you need to apply that to your own life. Because a lot of the people, like, would be, if they heard me say I'm a DEI hire, I'd say, yeah, well, I do all this shit. Yes, there will be people better than me, but a lot of the people complaining about that they can't get a job because of DEI, they just need to get good. The honest truth. After this preponderance of evidence, her shopping habits only target, that gravy analytics leak and what that person did is a demonstration able to pinpoint locations for as long as they tracked an individual basis throughout the globe. Yeah, but I think Cloudflare already patched that issue. It was an ethical data. It's an ethical disclosure. So they found the concept. They probably reported it, and then they got it patched. They looked to see that she was in it. Wait, what? Oh yeah. It's not that if some do it, all can do it. It's that all are doing it, pretty much. You're not paying for it. You are the product, but even then, pretty much. It's why Safeway does target coupons and also uses just for you pricing to maximize profits off you. Exactly. I seen a Walmart video on a video that had a data center in it. Yep. Walmart has a... do you know Walmart is basically, I think, like, what do they call, like a Fortune 1? They have enough employees to basically be a country. I'm not even joking. Look it up. How do I know this? I actually ran into one of their GRC people when I was at B-Sides at the pool party. He was chill. Seen a Walmart on a video. It's like a free survey. What product to sell more? Can we at least agree that Larry Ellison is a huge piece of shit? Oh, I can agree with that. He is a piece of shit. What's your thoughts on Meshtastic? It looks really cool. I have a lot of people that keep wanting me to play with it, but I got so many things on my list right now, I can't even get around to it yet. He is. Musk's gonna be snitching soon. Oh, absolutely. Water. There's one. Oh yeah, we got that. Lack of water, a mess of utility and structure. Metal. Oh, heard that the German anti-fascist projected Elon's Roman salute in the Tesla factory in Europe. Oh yeah. You want to see the image of it? I got it on my Blue Sky. This is why y'all gotta be following me on Blue Sky. I got good shit on there. On my Mastodon. On my Blue Sky. And I treat each one of them a little bit separately, so I might cross-post, but I actually interact on both. Here we go. There you go. That's what they did in Germany. And the funny thing is, there's not a damn thing Tesla basically can do legally to them because they're not really defacing the property and they just turn off the light. You know what I mean? So, yeah. The thing, I love German anti-fascists. Like, oh, let me put it this way. Do not fuck with German Antifa. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. American Antifa, y'all are a bunch of fucking pussies. Y'all are a bunch of fucking pussies. I'm gonna put a mask on. I'm gonna go. No. Trust me. Like, y'all need to take notes from the German Black Bloc. Like, y'all are. Go look up, like, actual Antifa in Germany. Holy shit. Like, basically, it's like Hell's Angels, but Antifa. Does that make sense? They will fuck you up 6 ways to Sunday. Does also in Arizona. Does Tesla track and collect user data? Do they know what apps are being used in the cars? I don't know. Let's think about this. Does Tesla have a computer? Yes. Does it have a camera? Yes. Does it have an internet connection? Yes. Does it give software updates? Yes. Of course it's fucking collecting data on you and everything like that. Water access is a little talked about issue. Nestle may be the world's most evil company. Oh, absolutely. Phoenix would be the same. 80 degree Fahrenheit nights with like 90% humidity. Ouch. North AZ isn't as bad. And I also wonder if Elon will try to take out Trump. I don't think he'll try to take out Trump. Here's the reality. Elon needs Trump more than Trump needs Elon. Because let me put this in perspective. Elon's already served his purpose for Trump. He's already done the PR. Trump's not going to get elected again. Not unless there's like some Reichstag moment or something like that, and then a constitutional amendment, and like that's so far and few between. Like there's, yeah, different, but yeah. Elon, I have a theory Elon's gonna get kicked out by Trump because he's doing a lot of stupid shit. First one was that little salute thing. Do you know how much that alone started to make even just, you're not going to understand it, but if you go look at like the what is it, Walter Masterson and like other videos of that, like interviewing MAGA, you got a bunch of people starting to ask questions now because of that incident. They're like, that was weird. Yes, they may have been in the minority, but it's just the start. There's going to be more things that are going to make people scratch their heads. And you have to understand, this is very different than the 1930s. The 1930s. 1930s and 20s, you got to understand, it was so easy to curate an image of a celebrity, of a politician, as the squeaky clean person. Now we're constantly connected. So think about that. Think about that. At least swamp coolers work in the desert. Yep. Trump's team just lambasted him for dissing their AI project. Yeah, and again, that was like strike number 2. Because Trump and Elon both have fragile egos. They both do. Even though the $500 billion Stargate project started before Trump, Biden was doing it. Oracle's even said they already built their first data center. Elon stepping in it and saying they only had $10 billion secured. Sam Altman had to say, no, come buy, our first, data center and everything. Elon's making himself look stupid. He needs to get off the ketamine. Absolutely. And let me make this very clear. I know ketamine is a legitimate treatment for depression. He says he's using it for depression. But anyone can abuse drugs. Anyone can abuse any prescription. I know people that take ketamine for their own medical needs. But they are not rolling on K and doing all the shit he's doing. Like, did you see that whole bob and head thing? Yeah. Like Signal up, but sadly they don't have a last scene feature. It's more on privacy, that's why. Signal, since I met Moxie at DAF CON years ago, just weird enough to convince me. I've been using Signal for, God knows, I don't remember when I started using it. It's kind of just always been there for me. Do you think over the next couple of years, because of the direction we are heading with AI and data privacy vulnerabilities, we will end up with more engineers creating applications like Signal and maybe even Proton that are grassroots with priority and encryption first? I don't think one has to do with the other, and the honest truth is I don't think we should be depending upon AI for a lot of that to do that, because AI is only as good as the programmer using it. I think people are overly relying on AI. In terms of data privacy, more of it's going to be regulatory hurdles that we need to fix than it is the actual applications. We have the technology to be secure. The issue is the laws around being secure. When you deleted FB, oh yeah, we already talked about that. I did that back in the day with MySpace, and they were easy to work with. I never deleted my MySpace. They just kind of deleted themselves. If the FBI wants in, they just call her Mideast BFF. Yep. Go read Ghost in the Wires. Is that the Kevin Mitnick book, if I remember? What are your thoughts about Graphene OS for custom images for mobile security? I have a Graphene OS phone upstairs. I use it as my DEF CON phone and my international travel phone. I like Graphene OS. I like Calyx. They're both good solutions. I hate most other privacy phones. All those other phones that try to sell privacy out the box, like Unplugged, Zero Trace, and there's a few others out there. They're bullshit. They're snake oil. Don't touch them. I'm gonna go into a full YouTube video on that. There's a TikTok video I made a few months ago, but TikTok is horrible for discovery and archiving and all that, which is why I'm trying to do more YouTube stuff. It was close to an 8-minute TikTok, if I remember, just railing on the Unplugged phone and how it was bullshit. I pissed off a bunch of Trump supporters somehow. It wasn't even a political post. Lord, I hate blue scams, the cost of. Okay. My InfoSec org made our recent desk hire by promoting off the help desk, and I've already targeted our next hire on the same help desk. Nice. Promote up within. That's always good. Promoting within is always better than hiring externally, because when you promote from within, they already have familiarity with a lot of the systems inside the corporation, as well as the bureaucracy and, the overall feel of the company. So at that point, it's just shifting into position, and they just have to focus on learning the position rather than learning the position and the company. We do similar at work. We actually just hired our new person on my team. And they came over from another team in cyber. I know you do. C is very simple. In this day and age, just use ChatGPT and learn to code. Learn to read code. Yeah, but, you're going to have to learn how to secure code. And that's a whole other kit and caboodle, because ChatGPT can't help you with a lot of that stuff. Like, for example, yes, it can help you with terraforming, but how do you learn best practices with Terraform? ChatGPT will make a Terraform file in one single file, but ideally you should make it modular. So you're going to have to do some additional learning and not just rely on ChatGPT. You need to go the extra mile and actually read the documentation and understand the best practices yourself, and not just trust the machine to do it for you. Rest as a place, I do see. I've introduced memory leaks to the field. Thanks for following, Tickleman. Honestly, YouTube is a great learning resource. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to do more of that. You go to the Supreme Court. Any thought of the pardon of Ross Ulbricht? That's probably one of the few things that he did that I was kind of okay with. I know some people are like, well, he did hits and all that. The reality is, I think a lot of the, because I actually did get to meet his mother, by the way, in my activism days. It was more they were going out to set an example of him than the time that he was doing fit the crime. If that makes sense. Personally, like to high-five the blockers of that EO. Yep. I like how the fuck they can argue against the language of the 14th Amendment. Well, you heard what the judge said in that case, right? With the banning birthright? He basically said, where the hell were the lawyers that made this? Because any lawyer would have told you that this would have never worked day one. Like, he basically was like, now they're getting a debrief on there to completely basically just roast it. Like, it's not going to become law. Now he's going to give this long, basically, debrief of, no, it's not going to be law. No, it can never be law. You know, like, basically, like, bro, law 101. Yeah, it's supposed to kick in 30 days after that signing of the order with the 14th. Oh, yeah. But that's how it'll start. I don't think he's reading TikTok. I'm reading TikTok. I'm reading YouTube. I'm reading Twitch. And should expand it. There's people all over. You gotta understand. I got a lot of people chatting, so I'm catching up. And then sometimes I go on long tangents, and then the chat builds up. Generally impressed by people's capabilities of supreme context switching. With AI-assisted hackers and nation states going at it, air gapping and paper is pretty much going to be the standard. I don't know. There's ways to get around air gapping. Israel proved that with the Iranian reactors. Y'all don't remember Stuxnet, do you? DI at its most basic level makes the front door bigger, which is a good thing. Absolutely. Remember, autistic people is a part of DEI. Exactly. That's why I was saying I'm a DEI hire. I'm a DEI for my religion, for mental disability. Well, it's not. I don't really see it as a disability, but you get what I mean. And yeah. So, I recently called out someone in leadership for the checkbox behavior. And here's the thing. A company should naturally have diversity. Naturally. It's not forced. You find the right people with the right merits. But what DEI stops is people with racial or, other biases. Because there are people that look through things with rose-colored goggles sometimes. So teaching my area neurodiversity and the importance of it. Yep. Walmart also have more employees on assistance than any other employee. I agree with that. That's true. They're shit employer. It's a big reason why I don't shop there. Mesh, it's meh. Altech V3. Walmart is largest supplier just behind the USPS. Still have shitty wages for a... Yep. Does it feel good to be smarter than most people? I mean... Here's the thing. The average person can be smarter if they choose to. They just choose not to spend their time to educate themselves. Anyone can better themselves. Anyone can improve their skills, their knowledge, the ways they think of it and all that. The average person, now some people naturally are more gifted, but the average person chooses not to better themselves. That's the reality of the situation. I want you to look around and think about there's people in your life that should be doing better in their life, but they purposely hold themselves back. That's the reality with a lot of people. And that's not specifically just an American thing. We just happen to be better at it than the rest, if that makes sense. From my experience. I've met some dumb people that do the same thing when I was in the Middle East and when I was over in Europe. And, you'll probably find them over in Asia and South America, Censor out the salute. Oh, yeah. Well, technically, I'm in the U.S., so I can do that. I want to return a dehumidifier to Walmart, and they rang up incorrectly and accused me of trying to steal money. I got them to review the security footage and won. Oh, yeah. I've had stupid shit like that before. Part of why I don't deal with them anymore. Trump did his inauguration indoors because he probably didn't want to face the public. No, Trump did the inauguration indoors. He said it was because it's too cold. The reality is because he got so fucking embarrassed last inauguration because his audience was like they do this every year, every election. They compare audience sizes and they say like, this is what it was like under this president, and this is what it like not. And Trump's was so small. And this year, I think they saw the ticket numbers coming in because remember, they decided to do it last minute. There was a lot of MAGA that already came in for the inauguration. They were ready to stand out in the cold. And they looked at it and they're like, we're going to be embarrassed. And the funny thing is the news companies are already comparing the ratings. And they said something like it was down 30%. Now, I want you to put that in perspective. Down 30%. You had all these people from MAGA willing to go travel. They must have been in their hotels watching the inauguration. And then they're at home watching it. And it was still down from Trump's last inauguration. That and he didn't even put his hand on the Bible. That's the thing that cracks me up the most. There's no legal requirement to put your hand on the Bible. Make that very clear. It doesn't even have to be a Bible. It could be a Barak. It could be a rock. It could be a It can be anything. It doesn't have to be a Bible. But the honest truth is, the reason why it's so hard for me to respect... Okay, let me put it this way. I am okay with everyone choosing whatever religion they have. I have friends who are Christian in the true sense of, you know, the way the Bible teaches you to be a compassionate, empathetic person and to improve the world. Same way as the Torah teaches me. The same way as the Quran teaches a lot of Muslims. The same way as the, you got, like all these different books. Forget the name for the sick one, but, you know, every religion pretty much centers around the idea. There's a few exceptions there we're not going to get into that because like that goes into like there's like small parts of religions from, you know, ancient worlds. Like there's a couple that actually deal with cannibalism. It's interesting. National Geographic was a thing when I grew up. Anyway, but the saying is that what I was going to say is that everyone is entitled to believe in whatever religion they want. But I find overwhelmingly Christians abuse their religion to suit their goals and as a means to an end more than other things. Don't get me wrong. There are people in every religion that do this. Okay? But Christianity seems to do it to the extreme. And it's not anything new. We have the Crusades to prove it. Okay? We have the whole medieval period. We have all of this to prove it. But I find it absolutely hilarious when people say they voted for Trump because he believes in God and he's a good Christian, when the man has done some of the most deviant things as a Christian, like cheated on his wife with a porn star, you know, that whole thing, or, you know, the whole grab him by the pussy and all those different things. It blows my mind when people are like, he's a good Christian. And it cracks me up even more. You can tell a lot of MAGAs never read Donald Trump's own books because I have to explain to them, Donald Trump was an ardent Democrat that also believes in gun control. It blows their mind when I tell them, do you realize that Donald Trump did more against the Second Amendment than Barack Obama did? Did more than what Joe Biden did? He banned bump stocks. I still think bump stocks are a stupid accessory, don't get me wrong. But it's still a violation of the Second Amendment to just say you can't use a bump stock, basically, according to their own logic. And then when I give that argument, it's like, well, it's just an accessory of a gun. And I'm like, I'm sorry, aren't you the guys going around going, shall not be infringed? Anyway, moving on. Tesla cams are watching you. The employees are watching you. Yeah. Shit, it's definitely a funny mustache situation. Elon, your resources were useful until now. Pain. He could have ended that speech with thank you and that's it. He decided to add those gestures. And that's the thing. Everyone's like, he did he did this and it's like from the heart. I want you to just sit there and like, think about it. Okay. From the heart. Like with the finger. Like that, keeping your arm like that. I'm not going to do the whole thing. That is such an unnatural movement. Think about that. Because if you naturally just go like from the heart, like you're giving someone, you're opening up. From the heart, you're opening yourself up. You see what I mean? And there's only two, he knew what he was doing. There's only two explanations for this. Either A, he actually believes in it, or B, he's a 4chan troll that likes to cosplay as one. And I don't know if that's really a better thing, if that is the situation. And here's the funny thing. He never denied it was that. All he had to do was say, no, it wasn't that. Instead, he's like, stop saying, everyone's Hitler. Stop, doing that. I'm like, bro, you could have literally just said, yeah, I'm sorry. That was not a good look. I don't condone, fascism or anything like that. Yeah. And then, by the way, fuck the ADL for that, whole thing standing up to him. And the only reason they're doing it is because they got their fucking, balls in a vice because Elon Musk wanted to sue them into oblivion. But then again, this is the same organization that got kicked from Wikipedia for extreme bias, and that Wikipedia couldn't even trust them on reporting on anti-Semitism and Israel. And also, fuck Netanyahu, for that matter, because he also defended Musk. Which, by the way, I already said this in Discord earlier. I'll translate this in a bit. Bibi, Shema. I don't want to say this. Hold on. Bibi, Shema. אני לא אוהב זאב. אתה קפוס. כוס אמת שתגלי בתחת. Simic. Listen, BB, I don't love you. Kiss my ass, and the closest I can translate the other thing, but just know it's worse. Motherfucker. And this? That's the middle finger in Israel, just so you know. Not this. This. So I want to get that on record. If anyone ever accuses me of being pro-Netanyahu, I have said I have not liked that motherfucker for years. I have not liked any prime minister in Israel since Ariel Sharon went to a coma. Ariel Sharon, just so you're aware, was the guy that gave Gaza back to the Palestinians. And did the very unfortunate thing. It was tragic because, you're kicking Jews out of homes that have been there since the Sinai thing so we could have an attempt at peace. But then he went into a coma and everything's been fucking shit for a decade and a half. I wouldn't say Zionism and, the other thing are the Yazidism are the similar. The way Netanyahu and Likud goes about Zionism is, because you have to understand, and nobody understands this correctly, there's about a dozen kinds of Zionism. And Bibi's is the most dangerous. There are forms of Zionism that believe in cohabitation, that believe in peace, that the land is for everyone there. And that's how it should be. We could all live together in harmony. We can all live together in peace. Once you get fuckheads out of power. And I know, shit's happened over the years. We get it. But you can't fix the past. We can only look forward to the future. Look at the American, history as well. We've done some fucked shit too. We can't fix what we've done to the Native Americans. But I think we can at least take steps so we can have a better life together. So they don't have to suffer as much. I think this world is big enough for everyone to live in it. And I think that once you get egotistical, power-hungry fuckheads out of office, and this isn't unique to the US, this isn't unique to Israel, I mean it everywhere, your problems go away. The majority of the problems in the world are basically that you have a bunch of leaders that just need to take a fucking tape measure out and fucking measure it and shut the fuck up. And you want to know the honest truth? I think if we had more women as leaders, we wouldn't have as much shit. Because I want you to think about this. How many of y'all got away with shit? And then your mom caught you and fucking bent you over the knee. Most of us are more scared of our mother than our father. And also, on the whole Zionism thing, if you take every single Jew, and I can say this because I'm Jewish, take every single Jew that happens to be pro-Israel, remove them from the equation, you still don't even really move the needle because the majority of the fucking people that are pro-Israel, that encourage Bibi to do the fucking authoritarian shit that he's doing, are evangelical Christians. The majority of the money that gets funneled in to a lot of this shit. Even on the whole AIPAC thing you're all like talking about, comes from evangelical Christians. This isn't bullshit. Look into it. And you want to know what the fucked up thing is? Do you know why they do it? It's roundabout anti-Semitism. I want you to think about this. And this is why I tell everyone, just because someone's pro-Israel doesn't mean that they are not anti-Semitic. Ask your average Christian why they want Jews to go to Israel and why they're for Israel. They want Jews to go to Israel to bring about the revelations, the end times, which is basically a roundabout way for the final battles, which basically is to kill us all. Their book. Read it. This whole world's fucked. Because people think we're all going to hell in a handbasket. They say the whole road to hell is paved with good intentions. Anyway, back to chat. Imagine if they had smartphones in the 20s and 30s. That'd be interesting. Didn't Trump tell Elon he could have made him on his knees and beg him? Pretty much. Wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if he said that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't say that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he said that. I don't know if he said that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Imagine smartphones with the wind talkers. Ooh, the Navajo wind talkers? Is that what we're talking about? Ooh, that would have been good. Okay, I wonder if Elon is let go, will he lambaste Trump on Twitter? Absolutely. Which I'm hoping for, because that will lead to infighting between the MAGA crowd and the Elon crowd. Keep them crazy and divided and all that. Have them do their power struggle. Elon can't run for president. Catch a bitch. Apparently there's a constitutional amendment proposed to allow any president to serve a third term. Yeah, there's a constitutional amendment, but do you know what you need to get an amendment passed? I want to clarify that. I want to make sure I'm all this. How to pass a constitutional amendment in U.S. Because I know there's a time period, there's a requirement. Okay. To pass a U.S. constitutional amendment, it must pass houses of Congress with a 2/3 vote. Then it must be ratified by 3/4 of states. Let me repeat that. He would not only need to get it through the House and Senate with 2/3 of a vote, which he does not have, and then he would have to get 3/4 of the states. There's 50 states. So what? That's 38 states. Not going to happen. I want you to look at the entire makeup of all these different Congresses and everything. It ain't going to happen. It is extremely hard to pass an amendment. That's why there's so few of them. Yeah, I was tweaking out during the inauguration, yeah. He's just autistic. Ketamine should be administered by a doc and under supervision. Absolutely, but the problem is, once you're wealthy enough, all rules go out the window. Don't you remember Michael Jackson died because of propofol, and Prince died because of drugs and all that? Once you have enough money, you can buy anything. For me, just look at egg prices right now. It's going up by a lot. Yeah, there was avian flu that happened a while ago, so prices are going up. But I love the fact that Trump is not keeping up with his promise of lowering groceries on day one. We have people commenting from treatment facilities saying, I know that look. Yep. We all know that look. Willing to make a tracker to gather data of the prices at my local store. That'd be interesting to track. He's trusting the Supreme Court to take it. They said the laws he was trying to pass after sign looked AI written. Roe v. Wade was kind of hazy. Birthright was absolutely clear. Well, so Roe v. Wade is a congressional law. It was passed through Congress. It only requires an act of Congress. The 14th Amendment requires, that was an act of states and Congress. I'm DEI transgender autistic. Yep. Stuxnet was introduced on a USB. Merit above all. Also, I've heard there's a loophole. The clause against foreign diplomats could be used to give previously birthright citizens diplomatic immunity. Not sure about that one. Yep, people have been increasingly complacent, but yet more entitled than ever lately. Oh my god, you have no idea. Having opportunities to better yourself always plays into it. Truth, I often remind people that I'm not the smartest person in the room, and that will always be okay with me, but I will never stop improving myself. The amount of time wasted on SM scrolling can be used so much better. Social media, okay. Yeah, and the thing I always tell people, if you want to make yourself a better person, if you want to be smarter, whenever you find that you're the smartest person in the room, leave that room and find a room where you're the dumbest. Because then at that point, you only can grow. I don't like being in rooms where I'm the smartest person all the time. Most of the time, I like being in other rooms where I can learn more. Because otherwise, my brain's not getting any exercise. Obama was the damn record. Yeah, he had a large amount of people. This Obama, it could be the Quran or even the Constitution. Yeah. What do you think about Meta forcing users to following Trump and Vance? So I was looking into that. Okay, one, Meta has a bad system that people have been unable to follow and all that. But the lady that actually was behind the system that started in 2016 explained what happens. So it's not that you're automatically following them. It's that you were probably you were following the POTUS accounts and everything like that before. So every president, and this started with Obama, what they do is they automatically archive the old account, iterate the account name by one, that becomes the new account, follows everyone over, and then everyone gets a lot of people get the notifications for that. I've already confirmed this as well with several of my friends. Just by asking them, hey, go check. It's like, yep, I got the notification, I'm following, and now I'm unfollowing. Now, some people have reported that they're having issues unfollowing, and it's not the first time Meta's had issues with people unfollowing things, okay? It's not unique to this. I think people need to step back and stop being so conspiratorial. You can have legitimate issues that just happen to be at really bad timing. Like the hashtag thing, when everybody was thinking like, well, you know, TikTok's not letting you search that. Well, let's remember, TikTok's entire servers were shut down. And they weren't shut down in a safe manner, because Oracle just started yanking shit. Well, not physically, but they started virtually yanking shit. And so services weren't always safely shut down. So there may have had to been some repairs to systems, and it may have just been a bad coincidence with what those things are. And I rarely believe in coincidences, but the honest truth is that seems to line up in my mind because of how the systems with TikTok work. And now, when I went to look up on TikTok some of the things they were saying, it's working. It's working again. But you know what they say? A lie will spread around the world before the truth even gets a chance. Remember the show Taboo? Oh, yeah. That just jostled some memories. Shout out to the Marianne. The bishop, though, she has serious guts. Yeah, I loved her sermon. And how unchristian do you gotta be to get pissed off and demand apology for a bishop being a damn Christian? And the man is looking to do a gun registry. Yeah, Donald Trump, here's the thing. Like I said, Donald Trump has written in his books that he believes in gun control. Go read his own biographies and books that he's written. He's spelled out a lot of his actual views. He does believe in gun control. He does believe in a registry. But I think that's one of the few things that if he happens to go around doing is going to piss off a lot of his base. I don't even necessarily agree with the registry, because the reality is I know the history of Germany and the T-34 plan. I understand a lot of people believe for good reasons in a gun registry. I understand where you're coming from. But a gun registry, in cases of Trump, and let's say we have another tyrannical leader, they know where all the guns are. How do you think they disarmed all the Jews in Germany? Think about it. Okay, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of you have the heart in the right place, but you got to think about, we're not in a normal situation. You said the right to privacy doesn't exist. Not in America. He was saying from the heart it would have been an open palm. Absolutely. He knew what he was doing. We know for a fact that he spoke on 4chan. I've spoken on 4chan. I've been on 4chan too. We all did. We kind of grew up in that era. There's a body language doctor on YouTube, and I low-key hope he covers this probably at some point. I already answered these with that. And Trump wants to remove their citizenship. Yep. Yo, my mother is a Russian, Australian Jew, and as an adult, I'll still be saying yes, ma'am. I can believe it. I mean, I am on no speaking terms with either of my parents, but if they actually were worthy of my respect, yes, I would. Seven Mountains. Revelation is one hell of a book. Yes, those wind talkers. Oh, yeah, Navajo ones. Will Trump deport Elon? Legally speaking, Trump cannot deport Elon unless he strips him of his citizenship. However, if in fact it is proven Elon did work here illegally, and potentially could violate his U.S. citizenship, there could be a potential case. This is theoretical. This is hypothetical. I'm not a lawyer. He could go down that route if he wants to be that vindictive. Thank you for the follow, the web diggity. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Convention of States. Well, Convention of States is a little bit different. A Convention of States would be more scary. Here's why. If one manages to call for a Convention of States, which is fucking difficult to do, by the way. Convention of States. Convention to promote amendments, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Article 5 of the United States Constitution, whereby amendments of the United States Constitution may be proposed on the application of 2/3 of the state legislatures, that is 34 of the 50. Okay, so I got the number wrong. It wasn't 38, 34, but still, the Congress shall, no, 3/4 is 38 of 50. Okay. On the application of 2/3 of the state legislatures, the Congress shall call a convention of proposing amendments, which become law only after ratification by 3/4 of the states. But yeah, here's the thing. A convention of the states has really technically only been called twice in this country. For the Articles of Confederation and the Constitution. That's 1781 and 1789, if I recall. The scary thing about if you call a constitutional convention is there is the possibility anything can be proposed, including the complete rewriting of the United States Constitution. Exactly. It's a complete Pandora's box. How's your PL, political algorithm? I haven't really been on TikTok much. It's been a little bit too political, so I've been on Xiao Huangshu and YouTube more just to entertain myself. They probably are more likely to be able to pass legalization of MJ. Well, what, at the federal level? Good luck. You're talking about the Republican Party. You're talking about the Republican Party. Think about that. They think the illegal immigrants are bringing in all the weed. Probably. Wouldn't be surprised. Thanks for the sub over on YouTube. I hear that they are looking into making like 3D printers be registered. That's New York. New York State is looking into that. Or is it New York City? I think it's New York State. Yeah, it's so dumb. They're trying to do that because you might be able to 3D print a ghost gun. And I'm like, bro, you need to stop going on the fear-mongering thing of it. And here's the reality. You can't ban technology just because you're scared of it. All technology has downsides. That's the reality. Almost all. George Carlin said it best. You don't have rights, you have privileges. 4chan is not as good now. Oh, fuck no, it's been horrible for years. Only mother, father's RIP, and we uncovered a lot of after that of bad things. Ooh. Convention of States is Pandora's box. Yep. Unrelated. My PS5 restarted for some updates, and I love the 30th anniversary intro. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, the puppy came in. I saw that. Well, printers have a built-in micro dot code. That's 2D printers. 3D printers don't work the same way. A 2D thing is a lot easier to figure out. A 3D thing is not. And there are all of these people are talking about like, oh, we're going to have AI to analyze the STLs and everything like that. Do you know how expensive that's going to make a 3D printer? Do you know most 3D printers are basically just an Arduino? An Arduino with some servos and, you know, not servos, but steppers and, you know, belts and all that. It's an apples and oranges thing. It's totally different. And the likelihood for false positives and all that is much higher. And I think all these schmucks that are like, we're going to put AI into a printer so they don't print 3D printers. Guess what, motherfucker? I got open source 3D printers. Just strip that shit out. I am always going to prefer open source 3D printers. Because you saw what Bamboo Lab did. That whole firmware update that's messing up everybody. That's what you get with proprietary systems. That's why you never saw me get a Bamboo printer. If you recall, I made TikTok videos long time ago when they started coming out. And I made the statement of, they look nice. They look fast. But I don't like that they're a closed ecosystem. Because 1, what if I need parts? I have to go only to them. 2, they have full control over the software on my thing. What happens if they lock it down? Which they've done. I'm boned. I don't like that. Real quick, I'm a Comp E student. Do you have any laptop recs at the top of your head? Yeah. You got, Lenovo's pretty good. You've got, the Dell XPS is a pretty good laptop, too. Dell's got some good... The main key is, don't buy the consumer lines of laptops. Get the business lines. Like, Lenovo has the ThinkPads. HP has the ProBooks. And Dell has the XPS. I want to say the Latitude. I think they changed their names, though, recently. Now, if you want a straight Linux device, not saying you need to, but if you just want one that's more focused on the Linux side of things, System 76 is nice. Tuxedo Computers is nice. I'm planning to get a Tuxedo computer myself. HP also has the HP Dev one, if you're looking at a more Linux-y focused one. But, anyway. Thanks for the follow, Character61. Thank you for following me over on Twitch. I'll look at HP and others that require subs. Yeah. Your clips come tomorrow. Oh, nice, thank you. So I'll have, some TikTok clips and some YouTube shorts from my latest video talking about the TikTok ban. Yeah, my latest video I put up, what was it, yesterday? Is a 30-minute video talking about the TikTok ban, talking about my views on it, talking about how I don't believe Meta is going to be acquiring it, talking about Oracle in there, talking about Xiao Huangshu. It's a 30-minute video, so there's a lot in there I think a lot of you will like. But yeah. My ears hurt. The problem with, like, headphones is after a while, I don't know how a lot of, like, streamers do this where they have headphones all day on. And these are comfortable headphones, but, like, after a while, you get that, like, you know, pressure. Let me take this off for a sec. Part of it is that I have earrings. But also, like, I have TMJ pain. Oh, that feels so good. And then I also need to go into cleaning my workspace a little bit more as well. You may have noticed that the desk is at least slightly cleaner. There's less papers and stuff on here. Oh yeah, I brought these out. So, you might be wondering why I brought a bunch of paper clips out. So, are you familiar with the Paperclip Rebellion? The Paperclip protests in Norwegian territories? Are you familiar with these? The Paperclip protest? So, to protest the Germans in the 30s and 40s, a lot of Norwegians, the teachers and stuff, would wear paper clips on their lapels, make bracelets or necklaces out of it, as a silent protest against the Nazis. So I was actually like sitting here like, I think we should bring that back. Think about it. You can wear it at work. You can do it anywhere. Just people with messy desks more than IG neat and tidy. I'm not looking at Instagram neat and tidy. You're never going to get that from me. All I'm looking for is space to put my laptop down. Because I'd like to get back to, bringing my laptop down and, plugging it in. Because I do have a capture card for 2 sources, and there's an HDMI. No, that was it. No, that's a different cable. I was confused. There is an HDMI cable here. This one is to a different capture card. It's a micro HDMI for my Raspberry Pi stuff. But I have a regular HDMI here that I plug in the laptop so I can tinker with it and everything. So that's why I have the cable there. So I want to clean up my desk so I can start doing some more tinkering and get back to doing all that. Because I do want to get back to reviving this and doing some content on this. We'll talk about this live. We'll talk about this on YouTube as well. This is the Start 9 with Start OS. This is a really nice home lab product here. I've had this for 2 years. They actually sent this to me free to check out. Not this past DEF CON, but the last DEF CON, DEF CON 31. And for those of you not aware, let's go to Start 9. Their whole thing is about you owning your own data. So you don't have to buy the hardware from them. But you can. You can put it on your own Raspberry Pi or own device if you really want. And the cool thing about this device is that everything you host, you can connect through Tor on. So they have a few different devices. They got rid of the Raspberry Pi version there because a lot of people are just buying their own. So this is the one I have. It's on clearance right now for about $800, which is nice because these are from Purism, and these were selling for about $1,200. And then they have this one over here. Let me see this. This one is the new version, which is cheaper. Ryzen 7 5825U. They're not bad. 32 gigs of RAM and 4 terabyte NVMe. Well, up to. So you can load that for $770 or just add whatever you want. And let me see. Is the BIOS open source on here? It doesn't say. I doubt they have. So the one thing that I like about this one over here, is that this has Intel Management Engine disabled because it's running Core Boot. So Intel Management Engine is disabled. And then this one, yeah, it's still got the AMD equivalent of it. That's the one issue with AMD stuff is in terms of open source firmware to run the boards and all that, there's not as much options as there is Intel. That's the only downside with AMD. Just being completely honest. Damn, my ears. Also, I'm getting to the point in my life where my jaw is just clicking just by like massaging a certain part of it. It's like when I feel pain, I literally can like click my jaw. It's probably not healthy. Probably should see a doctor. I'm old. I'm falling apart. Doctor says I need a backiotomy. TMJ? Yeah, I have a friend of the family that's a TMJ specialist, but probably gonna require some surgery or something, and I don't really want to go about doing that right now. Right now, it's at least manageable. So what I do is I do at least massage my jaw, and then I go get a deep tissue massage once a month. Y'all in the Discord hear me talk about this all the time. I get a 2-hour deep tissue massage and a half-hour infrared sauna once a month. And part of that massage is she does a TMJ massage, where, no joke, she will literally sometimes put a glove on and massage the inside of my gums and all that. So like massage like insides, like stick the finger in and like massage there and all. It's like such a weird feeling, but it feels amazing afterwards. Yeah. Have you thought about Botox for TMJ? Give me Botox and I'll be here like this all the time. Don't you see this? See my face? I'm happy. I'm also surprised right now. I'm kidding. I haven't considered it, but nah, right now it's manageable. It's not like detrimental, but yeah. LMT and he was talking about the massage for mouth. Yep. It's great. It's great. It's a weird thing the first time you get it done. You're like, is she sticking a finger in my mouth and about to throat fuck me? But no. Yeah. See, I've gone to the same massage therapist for so many years that I can mess with her. Like, I will say shit like when she starts massaging my face, and I'm like, I guess this is what one could say professionally is getting your face fucked. Oh, I mess with her all the time while I'm in the middle of massage. And she's known me for 5 years by now, that she knows I've got the twisted sense of humor. It's hilarious. But, like, she will also... I am one of her most intense patients in terms of, like, the amount of pressure I need. To the point, like, it feels great, but I'm in pain. And I'm, like... I've almost yeet myself off the massage table multiple times. Like, we both joke, like, I am fully waiting for one of these days where I actually go fully off the table, just land butt-ass naked on the floor, and we're gonna be laughing hysterically. Yeah, it's just one of those great things. Yeah, and then I'm starting to finally be able to catch up on my sleep. It was like a weird mix of medications and everything I had earlier this week, which is why I didn't stream on Tuesday, and I was up for like 35 hours, and we're getting back to it. And I find it so stupid that the insurance companies can have so much power over what prescriptions you have and then decide suddenly, no, you can't take this drug all of a sudden because we're changing policy, you got to get this one, and then basically have to cut me off one med, go to another, and then like fuck up my entire body basically. Miss my previous LMT. Stupid non-compete, the place wouldn't tell me where she went. Really? Huh. That sucks. So here's an idea you have. There are different, I found out from my massage therapist, there are massage therapist groups. They often go and share stories, so I'm betting if you go into one, you could probably track them down. The policy year sheep is beyond annoying. Oh yeah. I firmly believe that, let me preface this with, I am a pragmatic libertarian, but I am a minarchist and believe in minimal government with safety nets for people. I honestly believe health insurance is one of those safety nets we should have. There's no reason the United States healthcare should be as expensive as it is. We spend more on healthcare than any other nation, but our healthcare for what we're paying is crap. And no one should ever have to go broke or bankrupt or have to decide between groceries or medication. We're a third world country wearing a Gucci belt if we have people having to make those kind of decisions. How do I exit Vim? Help. Okay, so what you do, you throw your computer out the window. Honest truth, I've never figured out how to exit Vim. I kind of just like close the entire window. Vim is just one of those things that's too tedious for me, and just like Yeah, you're learning why I don't care for Vim. There's way too much into it. It was great at the time. There's a lot of people that know how to use Vim and Mutt and Emacs and you know all those different things, but there's no reason to use them anymore. I use Visual Studio Code. And then I use Nano when I'm on my local stuff. I was definitely considering medical tourism. Kind of speaking of, I would like to hear your opinion on gun control. So I said as earlier, I'm not... Gun control is a tricky thing, because you have to understand there are reasons to have guns and everything like that, and I know people believe in gun registries, but the reality of the situation is, right now, you have people like Donald Trump. Donald Trump would use a gun registry to track down his opponents if given the opportunity. And if you think I'm mistaken here, go back to your 1930s history with Germany and look up the T-34 plan. That's how he disarmed the Jews. I'm not saying that I don't understand the reasons for gun control, but at the end of the day, there's multiple aspects with it that are horrible. And yes, we do have mental health issues. Yes, we do have issues with, you know, like some people shouldn't have guns. I'll give you that. We've had so many cases where the instant background checks have failed. Like, there were actual, like, they shouldn't have been allowed, but somehow still passed the NICS check. And then also, people like to talk about smart firearms, and I'm not a fan of smart firearms because a firearm is a fully mechanical device, and electronics are never going to be as reliable as a mechanical device. And given a situation of when one usually uses a firearm, it's usually in an extreme moment. It can be hit, it can be dropped, it can be covered in mud, dropped in water, you know, like in extreme heat and all of this. And palm detection and fingerprints and all that shit, you can't have that fail when you need to use it. You just can't. And to further the point, I think one of the biggest issues we have is gun-free zones. And let me put this in there. Let me get the thought before people say, like, whatever. Gun-free zones only keep law-abiding citizens out. Why are schools such a soft target? Because they know no one's armed. I'm not saying to arm teachers. Let's get that clear. I'm not saying that's not their duty. But there isn't a reason you can't have police around there. My school, we didn't have metal detectors or anything, but there was a cop at least, you know, around. But should people in bars be carrying? In Ohio, it's legal. You just can't drink and carry. Does that make sense? Let me give you another story here. Did you know that Ohio used to be the bank robbery capital of the United States in the 1990s? Did you know that? I remember going to school, and there would be school lockdowns several times a month because there would be some bank robber, you know, robbing a bank nearby, or we're talking like within a mile or two, and then just somehow happen to be near the school and we have to lock down and everything like that. One year, I noticed that we weren't doing lockdowns as much anymore. And looking back at it, I'm like, what happened that year? That was the year Ohio passed concealed carry. Legally speaking, unless they have a sign on the bank, you're allowed to carry in a bank. Whereas places of worship, by default, are a gun-free zone until they actually give you permission. There's a lot of synagogues now that allow you to carry guns in there. for obvious reasons. In fact, a lot of the rabbis around the world issued an edict that if you're illegally allowed to carry, you should, even on Shabbat, for self-defense. Like, locks are for honest thieves. Exactly. Hold on while I reboot my gun. See you later, Jessica Bear. Should we even have background checks? I mean, there's none for driver's licenses. Yes, we should have background checks, and on driver's licenses, we should have recurring checks for driver's licenses after a certain age. There are people that, I believe, once you start maybe hitting 50, 60 years old, you should be rechecked for your driving. Doesn't have to be like an intense test. Just do the basic, you know, have someone in your car like you're getting your license again. Just confirm that you can freaking drive. Sleep meow. Bye. See ya. But yeah, I do believe in background checks. I do believe in driver's licenses. And look, I'm just going to be honest with y'all. We don't live in a perfect world. We don't. And the honest truth is I don't think America is mature enough to be where Europe's at. We're not. We're nowhere near there. We still have to follow the Edmund Burke, an armed society is a polite society. I don't have any perfect solutions for the world. I'm just a dude that lives in it. You know? But, yeah. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation. And I think a lot of the issue is inside of the American culture, a lot of us have lost respect. We've lost respect for the other person. What I mean by that is, I have to agree with Mike Tyson's statement that we've become too comfortable being behind a screen and never getting punched in the face for our opinion. You can tell there's some people that have never been punched in the face. She even had her eyes done so she could keep driving. Wait, what? Appreciate your opinions and takes. Yeah. But in all 13 states, and in all 13 states, can't you buy a firearm from a private person without having to do a background check with the ATF? Yes. Person-to-person sales. It's totally legal. And the honest truth is, it's a bit of a burden to allow transfers otherwise. Now, with that being said, in some of the person-to-person sales I've done, I've usually done it in front of a police officer, so I can at least have a police officer present. A lot of police departments will do you a favor if you work with them ahead of time. Now, this isn't everywhere. They're clear. But you can ask them if, you know, you can help them oversee a transfer or things like that. And then if you can check the firearm themselves to make sure it's not stolen or anything. There's no bad background with it or anything like that. Some police departments and sheriffs are more than willing to help you out in that situation. It depends. But, of course, you never just go in a police station with a gun. Don't do that. But, yeah. I do think we're in a world of hurt, though, for the next few years and everything. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think there's at least a light at the end of the tunnel for, seeing that the the different courts and all that are striking down his orders. People are suing him out the gate. He's gonna, I think, have a tough time doing the things he wants. And by the way, have you been paying attention to Donald Trump and the way he's talking about things? I'm not saying this lightly. The dude has dementia. The dude, for all the things he called Biden, he is. He's worse than Biden mentally. Like, Biden's losing it? Don't get me wrong. And by the way, did, you hear, apparently, like, Trump had an interview with Fox where he kind of bombed it, and I was listening to it where he, basically, like, said, like, forget the economy, forget the grocery prices, and it was more focused on Greenland and everything. Like, this is how fucking kooky he is. He wants to take over Greenland, which has been in the Danish Empire for 800 years. And here's the thing. Donald Trump is not the first person to try to purchase Greenland in the United States. I think it was Truman, if I'm not mistaken. 1 second. Let me double check that. Double check that. It was like $100 million at the time. James F. Burns. Okay, so Denmark, blah, blah, blah. William H. Seward. James F. Burns. Yeah, a few Secretary of States have tried to buy it. Privately by Vice President Nelson Rockefeller. Who the hell? Oh, that was under Gerald Ford. Okay, that's why. I don't know much about Ford's thing and all that. Ford was interesting. But yeah, there's been a few attempts to buy it, but no one's been successful. Especially hearing what he's been saying recently. Oh yeah, he's losing his mind. He's losing his mind. We need to stop electing old fucking assholes. We shouldn't vote for anyone. Let me put it this way. If you are old enough to collect Social Security, you are too old for Congress. You are too old for government, period, to be a politician. I don't think once you're of age of retirement, you fucking retire. We should have term limits and age limits. Every single elected position in the United States should have age limits and term limits. That's my statement. That's my belief. That fixes so many problems. Because do you understand how effed our generation is because we have such a lack of representation? And by the way, you know Nancy Pelosi is being an absolute see you next Tuesday and trying to go after AOC so that she can't get the power that she needs? We need people like AOC to take over the Democrat Party if the Democrat Party wants to succeed. The Democrat Party is failing because you got a bunch of old fucks and they keep being entitled and think like it's their turn. Think about it. Nobody fucking wanted Hillary Clinton. It's her turn. Nobody fucking wanted Biden. But he paid his dues. Nobody really wanted Kamala either. That was the choice we had because Biden didn't fucking drop out sooner. So now we had to worry about the coffers that were already filled for the Biden campaign. And legally, she was the only one able to take over. And the honest truth is, I'll tell you right now, if the Democrat Party didn't fuck up the election in 2016 and put Hillary Clinton in, and instead listen to Bernie Sanders, we wouldn't have Trump. Imagine where we'd be. And I'm not a Bernie fan. Make that very clear. You don't think that AOC would alienate in moderates? Give us a little bit more time with Trump and see how it works and you'll see the alienation. Just give it more time. Think about it this way. We're not even a full week into his presidency. We already have unconstitutional executive orders. We already have some certain kinds of salutes. And then we have all the other slews of things. Give it time. Especially once the tariffs hit. And it starts impacting our bottom line. When countries like Canada stop importing American alcohol because of tariffs and focus on having their own alcohol, and then come back and slap their own tariffs of an equal amount dollar for dollar. And by the way, the Canadian Liquor Bureau, the LCBO, is apparently the largest purchaser of alcohol in the entire world. That's our neighbor to the north. Kentucky is fucked. Nobody's going to buy bourbon from Kentucky if the tariffs hit. It's going to be bad. I'd hope that the kind of stuff would turn off the moderates and even the OG Republicans. You know what blows my mind, though? Is America is center-right. And Europe is just center-left. We're not that far apart. Like, seriously, we're like this. And everyone's treating Europe like going to the left to where they are at is some extreme move. It's not. We're not like, it's not even like socialism. It's just capitalism with social welfare programs. It's totally different. He called all the cybersecurity advisory boards while creating crypto and AI advisory boards. Nothing to see here. Not only that, he grifted. You know that there's Trump supporters that are losing entire life savings putting money into the Trump coin? Now, I'm going to put it this way. I don't feel bad for them. They reap what they sow. He's a grifter. But what I am saying is that should have never been allowed in the first place. You know? It's like did you see the one guy, by the way, that because of Donald Trump's executive order to freeze hiring, his wife was set to start a job in 2 weeks and then had the job offer rescinded, and he's like a big MAGA guy. Oh, Hawk. Yeah, that. Like, look at this. My wife is a nurse and was recently hired by the VA. Our home is packed up. We have a new home, have spent thousands to move our family from Fort Worth to Waco. Following Trump's hiring freeze executive order, VA rescinded the Veterans Affairs rescinded her job offer. My wife is in tears and inconsolable, and my family is devastated. It has been my wife's dream to work with needy disabled veterans. I'm a disabled vet. Now our family is lost with no clear path of what to do. Her job was to start in 2 weeks, right after we settle in. We are all huge Trump supporters, and I know this was an unintended consequence. I'm sure veterans, medical care professionals were not the target of this executive order. They were. It was everyone. Please help me get this message to the White House so the president can fix this error. Veterans need not be affected because of out-of-control government spending elsewhere. Please help retweet this so real Donald Trump is made aware. You know what's even funnier? Oh, it gets even funnier. So I looked into this dude. He was a councilman, apparently, that was relishing in national security staffers sent packing. Okay? He was applauding all these other people that were getting kicked out. But he never thought it would affect him. And that's the problem with a lot of these Trump supporters. They only think it's going to happen to everyone else. They don't think about what happens to us. He's a former city council member in Reno, Texas. Yeah. And it kind of got funnier when you look into it. Yeah, the leopards ate my face. Until they came for me. Exactly. I think somebody else in my Blue Sky comments mentioned, oh yeah, who'd have thunk that the dude that referred to fallen soldiers in the cemeteries he was supposed to visit as suckers and losers would cut the services for disabled vets? Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about vets. Donald Trump is a draft dodger that got out apparently because his feet hurt. Look it up. I wish I made this shit up. I wish I did. But yeah, it's just absolutely appalling. But anyway, it's about 11 o'clock at night. I am tired. I'm gonna go to bed. We're gonna raid out on Twitch here for a second, and I think Sunday we'll get back into doing my gaming on Linux and all that stuff. And everything like that, as well as tinkering, all that kind of stuff. I'm slowly cleaning up everything. Which, by the way, I found one of my Nexus 7 tablets the other day. This was one of my original ways I used to do Bitcoin portably before hardware wallets were a thing. That thing is like so old. I think I had that in like 2013, 2014 or so. But, yep. Make sure, if you haven't already, join the Discord. Join the Matrix. Follow me on social media. I'm on Blue Sky, Mastodon. Technically I'm on Threads, but I only really cross-post there, and I don't really like Threads. I'm barely there. Yes, I am on TikTok. I am on YouTube. I am on Twitch. We also have a Discord, and we have a Matrix server. And of course, I also have added myself to Xiaohuangshu last week, so I am on Red Note if you want to follow me there. I will be having more content there. So, thank you all for joining me. Stick around for the raid if you're over on Twitch, and I will see you all Sunday. And don't forget, Saturday night, movie night, 9 o'clock p.m., over in the Discord server, Eastern Standard Time, we will be watching The Dictator this week. The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin. 1940s classic. Haven't seen it yet. Had a lot of people recommend it, and I thought it was kind of timely. So, love y'all. Happy hacking. See you around. Stick around for the raid, and I'll see you next time.